1. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast, I guess. This isn't really Battlebots What If podcast. This is more, well, I guess you could call it a Battlebots What If podcast if you really felt like it. But this is the mid-season rankings, basically. And what would happen if, I guess it is what if. What would happen if our top 32 bots all made it into bracket, basically? So here's what we did. Green Pory and I made power rankings for all 58 robots that fought currently. And they both sent me their rankings. So I added them up.
Did I send you my rankings?
Well, you put them in KOD chat, and I just copy-pasted it from there.
Wow, stealing them. But I didn't add the latest YouTube fight.
Yeah, I just threw Valkyrie in there in like 40 because I felt like it.
Valkyrie's not 40. Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie's in my top 32. Plus, where's Triple Crown?
I said 30.
Valkyrie's in my top 32.
Wait, what? Where's Triple Crown? I don't see Triple Crown.
Triple Crown's like the third last or something for me, so I don't really care about that. Oh yeah,
they're third last on mine too.
Yeah.
I didn't have Triple Crown in it because I didn't watch the fight, so yeah.
Well, you'll be seeing it tomorrow, and this podcast will be released probably at the time it's released or whatever.
By that time, probably. But this is our 58 bots, I guess. Some confusion in because Pory didn't put Valkyrie in it and Triple Crown.
Well, yeah, because I didn't want to spoil the result of the fight.
Although Triple Crown didn't necessarily matter that much because it probably wouldn't be in the top 32. Because I know I knew the results, and I think we all knew the result. We didn't even need to watch the fight to know the result.
No, like literally, I watched it. I'm like, that's what I expected to happen, pretty much. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
But,
that was my most confident pick of the episode.
But,
same.
Yeah, like I said, this is kind of a point system. So basically, wherever your bot is ranked, that is how many points you got in it. So say Sawblaze got the top 1 rank in all of our rankings. That means it gets 1 point from each ranking, which is equal to 3 points. And the 32 bots who have the least amount of points went into the top 32 bracket that I made. But yeah, before we go into check out the seedings, how about we talk about our power rankings right now? So I won't go full deep dive lore into mine, but I'll kind of say the gist of it. Number 1, we got Sawblaze, obviously 2 dominant fights against 2 pretty great opponents. Uppercut, 2 extremely destructive wins. Endgame, I kind of put Endgame in third just because I didn't want the Endgame fan base to destroy me, even though I'm a part of the fan base itself, so yeah. Then we got bots who are 1-0, like Fusion, Hypershock, and Scorpios. We also got some 1-1s like Mad Catter, and then you can go down the line from there. Pory, Green, you want to talk about your power rankings?
You can go first, Pory. We'll go down the line.
I mean, mine's just pretty much like, correct power rankings. I mean, there isn't really much to say. I mean, we'll get into it for sure.
Yeah. Green, you want to talk about yours?
So kind of looking down some of my big differences. I got Black Dragon quite a bit higher than all the others because I think a few of these people underestimate the bot from Brazil. Let's see.
I mean, I got him at 11. That's not bad. And considering if it had a second fight, I'd probably have it a little higher, to be fair.
Yeah. Not much to really talk about there. You'll probably see where I'm going, and when I release the Green Square Talks Battlebots for this recent episode, you'll get a better look at my power rankings as of now. So,
all right, well, that said, let's go to the seedings where we will see what the leader of our 4th quadrant is, which coming in at a 2-0 record with a very destructive judge's decision win and an extremely impressive knockout that destroyed the lights. We got the boys from Las Vegas, the hometown boys themselves, Jackpot.
Who's that?
So, Jackpot. So, Yeah, 2-0, took out Malice and Deadlift, and yeah, made it pretty far. What do you guys got to say about Jackpot being the 4 seed in this? Is that pretty agreeable?
As of right now, I'd agree with it, including Jackpot's on my King of Draft team, so shout out to Jackpot for really carrying my team so far, who has provided me the most points with that 2-0 record. But yeah, we took it. Yeah, Jackpot's gotten some pretty quality opponents, and yes, I do think Deadlift is a pretty quality opponent with how they did in the bounties from last season, and so yes, I might disagree with some of Pory's big takes on Deadlift, but I do think Deadlift is a pretty big quality opponent for them. And then Malice as well. Malice might have been really vulnerable to a big vertical spinner like Jackpot, but Malice is
Oh
also a
no.
pretty quality opponent too. Oh yeah, and Pory showing off the part. I might need to get.
Oh yeah, we
He's
got
Oh, yeah.
the big deadlift arm, which was used to beat Jackpot.
But
and
yeah, Jackpot's definitely had some gremlins in their first 2 fights, but they were able to dominate a majority of both of those fights, and so I think they are a pretty worthy four seed as of now, as of how far we are into the 2021 season.
yeah, Pory, you agree with it?
Yeah, I mean, they were like third or fourth on my list anyway. Like, it's definitely something I agree with. They were initially a little low because in the deadlift fight, I mean, yeah, they were fighting an elite robot that's gonna go all the way, but like, they were definitely having some. Oh, nice, yeah, the deadlift gang. They were definitely having some struggles in that fight, but that Malice fight was clean. Like, that was really good, and I think that was the first time Malice was knocked out, not counting like it falling on his back.
Gigabyte.
Yeah, Gigabyte.
Gigabyte.
Oh, was it knocked out in Gigabyte?
Yeah.
Okay.
They lost
But,
drive on one side and was counted out due to crab walking. But yeah, that's side armor from the directly from the Jackpot fight that was just showing off. Oh,
yeah,
I love it. It's huge too. A lot
but the
bigger than I
Malice
thought it was.
performance, the Malice performance definitely was like enough to, like, at first with the first fight they fought, they were probably in like the 10-ish range, but that Malice fight was just so beautiful, man. Like, definitely deserving.
Yeah, definitely. So now let's take a look on all the bots that are joining Jackpot in the 4th quadrant. And boy, let me tell you, there are some huge names in this.
Huge isn't there.
Well, not huge, but we got some big boys here. We got Lockjaw, Copperhead, Witchdoctor, Fusion, Bloodsport, Scorpios, and Inceltide. And if you'll
I
notice,
wouldn't say that on your podcast, man. I don't care. Like, it's your podcast. Do what you want, but
okay, fine, rip
yeah.
off Yeti. Okay, so yeah, if you'll notice, a lot of these bots made top 16 seeds from last postseason, even though some of them might not have deserved it, such as Fusion, but who cares? But yeah, what's your this will probably be a fun quadrant. What are your guys' opinions on it?
Yeah, here we got a lot of favorites of mine. We got, Jackpot's obviously one of my favorites. They're one of my top 5. Same thing with Witchdoctor. It's also part of my top 5. Got Bloodsport, Scorpios, Copperhead, and Lockjaw. 4 robots that I've loved to watch throughout the past few seasons they've been involved. Then we also got the Battlebots 2021 Dark Horse in the bottom left, Fusion.
Sub-Zero's in there, what?
And then Riptide on the other side, who had a very impressive debut against Huge. And I don't know exactly if I can really say a lot about Riptide so far, just because their one fight ended so quickly. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
Riptide definitely has a little potential, because that drum spinner did show to have a lot of power to it.
Yeah, Pori, what are your thoughts on this?
I think I agree with you. Like, Riptide kind of just has to prove like, I want to see Riptide in the arena for more than like 30 seconds, because we don't know how reliable its weapon is. We don't know how reliable its drive is. We quite frankly don't know his driving style at all. We know he can box rush, and that's it. Like, we gotta learn more about Riptide before I feel it's a contender. But I feel like, but regardless, it was probably in my top 32 list anyway as like a lowish seed, just because it did get a win over a good robot. But I don't really disagree with any of these inclusions. What seed is Witchdoctor? That's the one thing.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's 20 seed. It's 20 seed.
20 seed. Okay, that's a little high, but that's fair. Okay,
That's
I'm
a
guessing.
little low with my power rankings. I think I had them in the early,
Yeah,
no, not quite early teens. I think somewhere in like the 13 to 17 area. I don't remember
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what, but it
Basically,
doesn't matter.
here are the bots that are seeded in this. Jackpot is the 4 seed, obviously. Lockjaw is the 29 seed.
That's fair.
Copperhead is the 13 seed. Witchdoctor is the 20 seed. Fusion is the 5 seed. Yeah, Fusion's the 5 seed. Bloodsport's the 28 seed. Scorpios is the 12 seed, and Riptide's the 21 seed.
You remember when
Okay, so
Pory and I picked Fusion to beat Cobalt?
Nope. Never have,
base.
never will.
Base.
But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I don't really. I besides maybe tweaking the orders a little bit. I mean, these are all robots that I feel will make the top 32, unless Riptide like really bombs its next two fights. I think it's in. Jackpot's 1000% in. Witchdoctor, even though their only win so far was to like arguably one of the worst robots in the field this season, they'll probably get in because they're popular. And quite frankly, fight number 3, they're not going to lose that. And if
Yeah.
they do, they don't deserve to be in the round of 32.
Oh yeah. If Witchdoctor loses their third fight with who it's revealed to be, no shot Witchdoctor should get in.
Shot.
Although that'd get me bragging rights if it happens, since Rusty's on my King of Draft team. But of course I think odds are even lower than Blip losing to Rusty on that happening.
Although this would, if Witchdoctor does lose, this would prove Rusty is better than Duck.
I mean, it's better than Duck. Let's be real. But Lockjaw, I'm a little worried about. They gotta win their next two fights. I feel.
Yeah.
And like, or at least if it goes 1 and 2, get a good loss. I mean
Lockjaw's definitely had their weapon reliability issues definitely popped up, but their durability was outstanding in that fight.
I mean, it was a good loss, 100%.
Yeah, that was a good loss.
Yeah, because like holy crap, like we saw them they died out against Shatter and Jackpot after not much punishment. Copperhead's definitely more ferocious than both of those two, in my opinion, and they survived the full 3 minutes after taking flurries of hits.
And Lockjaw
you're probably right though, Pory, even though
I mean, we know its next fight. Its next fight is in the next episode.
Yes.
Keep it secret for now. But I am worried about Lockjaw in that fight. I feel that fight will make or break it pretty much for the bracket. Copperhead, I think, is pretty much a shoe-in unless it really bombs its next two fights. Same with Fusion. I mean, Fusion was looking very good. As long as Fusion doesn't do the thing, as you call it, I think they'll be good. Scorpios, I think, is pretty much a lock already. Unless they really bomb their next two fights. And Bloodsport will probably bounce back, I feel. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
All right, anything else, or should we get to our third quadrant leader?
Yes.
All right. Coming in for our third quadrant leader, a bot who has had 2 extremely destructive KOs to his name. One with a massive explosion, the other just fucking disabling the entire bot itself. And that is none other than the legend itself, Uppercut. And Uppercut definitely had a very destructive season, as it usually does here on Battlebots. And just very impressive so far. Looking forward to see its future fights.
Is that an old picture of Uppercut?
No, that's a 2020. That's a 2021 pick of Uppercut.
Yeah, it looks like a 2020 pick.
I guess it doesn't really change a lot.
Like, yeah, because it looks like the frame and stuff didn't really change on Uppercut, as of my knowledge. I think the internals changed, but that's all I know and stuff, or all I can guess, because I don't know that for sure either.
Yeah, but do you guys agree with Uppercut being the third quadrant leader?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree too. Like, definitely their quality of opponents definitely was not as good as like probably who are the top 2 seeds. Assuming I can guess right now who they are, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
their dominance in those first 2 fights, they're definitely worthy to be up there, and I think they're already a lock for the top 32,
Oh
like
yeah, they definitely
Jackpot
are.
Easily.
and stuff.
Definitely.
Including the fact
Yeah.
that they put holes in the shell of Gigabyte after that fight, and
Gigabyte's a
which
pretty
is
quality opponent too, to
yeah,
be
that
Yeah.
fair.
too. Gigabyte's a
Free
quality
shipping, I
opponent,
mean,
and yeah, there were 2 big holes in the shell of Gigabyte after looking at Uppercut's damage report, where they featured pics of Gigabyte
yeah.
after that fight,
But but
and it
yeah.
was always fun watching them blow up another fuel tank. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only thing that really, I don't know if Uppercut's going to necessarily be a top 4 bot. I mean, I think it
I
has to
don't
have a
think it'll
good
be a
win in its next fight to get top 4, but at the same time, the free shipping fight, while it was a pretty good win, it did lose drive on one side, it seemed, so that should definitely be acknowledged. Like, it's still definitely one of the stronger bots so far, but we also have a lot of robots that have only had one fight so far, so
good
we'll
point
see.
there. So yeah, let's see who Uppercut is being in the quadrant with for this. So yeah, and I gotta say there are some high powered weapons in this quadrant. Like holy shit, you got Uppercut, Tombstone, Mad Catter, Captain Shredderator, Ribot, Hydra, all very destructive bots who have very destructive wins to their names. And yeah, what are your guys' opinion on this quadrant?
yeah, so many big names in this one, just like the last one. Because we got Tombstone as usual. Definitely not as like how do I say this and stuff like how do like definitely like not as big of a threat in my opinion, since lots of other teams have figured it out, but it's still a big threat and stuff. Still got the destructive power behind it, including lots of the upgrades they put into it. Mad Catter, even though they dropped that one to Sawblaze, they've looked great so far. Then Ribot's also looked pretty good too. Got to worry about the quality of opponents so far, but
True.
they did very well last season, and their first 2 fights are dominant. Dragon Slayer and Captain Shredder are 2 robots I'm hoping we'll get to see a little more out of, because like Captain Shredder did get that upset win over Tombstone, but that fight with Gigabyte was a little bit of a setback
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But and then Black Dragon and Hydra, 2 more absolutely ferocious opponents that I feel could make a tournament run, possibly.
Corey, what's your thoughts on this quadrant?
I mean, we talked about Uppercut. Tombstone, I mean, as of right now, Tombstone is probably seeded in top 32, but like not a very high seed because it
Yeah,
it lost to Captain Shredderator, and quite frankly, the Mammoth win was a kind of a bad win in my opinion. So I think, at least in my opinion, Tombstone probably needs to win its next fight in order to make the top 32. I know that's not how it's going to work. I know Tombstone's probably in regardless, but that's just how I see it. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a big if it loses its next fight. We don't know. Um, Mad Hatter looked amazing in their first fight. Second fight, they got their ass handed to them, but they got their ass handed to them by like a robot that we'll talk about later. So that no shame in that, really. Captain Shredderator, the Tombstone win was very impressive, but it is definitely bogged down by its second fight. I think it is still probably a top 32 lock just because it beat Tombstone, but we'll see. We'll see how it does in its next fight. Rivot is going to go all the way. Frog, we're going to win the championship. We're going to win the giant nut. It's going to be great. Don't you shake your head at me, boy.
boy.
It should be. I mean, regardless of what you think, Rivot is 2-0, 2 KOs. It did, but it doesn't. If its opponents were better, I would definitely say like top 4 seed. But I get that its opponents were definitely kind of like, I want to say gimme wins, but they should have given Ribot harder opponents like spinners or something for sure. Dragon Slayer, Dragon Slayer is probably not making the top 32. Let's keep it 50-50. It's probably not. Like, it beat Duck, yes, so right now it's in the top 32 with our rankings, but, like, Spinner didn't really spin that fast, in my opinion. It didn't really seem to have a lot of oomph to it, and I like Dragon Slayer, but I don't really have hope in it winning its next two fights, especially since fight number 2, if Dragon Slayer wins fight number 2, Green has to PayPal me $20, like straight up 55th Street.
Well, I don't agree to that bet, man.
Bro, you really think that Black Dragon's gonna win that fight? Let's be real.
Wait,
what fight?
Oh, Dragon Slayer. You think Dragon Slayer is going to win the fight against Minotaur? Like, let's be real.
I never said that I think they'd win. I just said that if they did win, I'd accept the defeat.
All right, but still, I don't think I mean, Civilian, you'd agree with that, right? Like, you don't think Dragon Slayer is going to beat Minotaur?
Oh fuck no shot.
Okay, so that's why I'm kind of thinking, like, unless they get an easy third fight, I don't really see them making it. Black Dragon, I think, is already a lock. It did do a lot of serious damage to Ice Wave, and, you know, it didn't have any moments, really, where Ice Wave was on top. I mean, Ice Wave was on top of it, but, you know, it was getting its wheels shredded out of it while it was doing so. But, yeah, Black Dragon, I think, is a lock, unless it really bombs its next two fights. But, it should win one of them. I mean, we know the one fight, and I am a little worried for Black Dragon on that, but I think I'm going for them with that. Like, I think Black Dragon is going to beat Rotator.
I feel whoever wins that fight, that bet is going to be a main event, is going to get a lock, and whoever loses it, it'll probably be a good loss, because I'm betting it's going to be a close one either way.
Yeah. Hydra, I agree with currently, but I think they need to win their next fight in order to be a top 32 lock, which they might do, you know. I mean, I think they'll get in regardless because people love Hydra. But the Gruff win was very good, and but the endgame loss was kind of embarrassing. I do feel that the Gruff win, while it was good, they definitely did not have the oomph, something that even Jake acknowledged, but you know, he still managed to flip him around. He got an Uda. He defied the rules, which was a stupid rule, so shout out to Jake for standing up for what he believes in.
Wait, was that a rule that you can't get an Uda?
Yeah, the rule they incorporated this year was you can't they covered the toaster slots, just like slopes on them, so like you hit a robot up there, they just tumble back down in the arena. But they said if you flipped a robot at that area where he flipped Gruff, like by the door, then technically, if the robot intended to do it, it would be a disqualification. But if like a vert accidentally hit a robot into that area, which apparently did happen this season, I don't know who. I'd rather not know who, because, you know, we don't like spoilers in this house. Apparently, if a vert accidentally does it, it's okay. But if, like, a flipper deliberately does it, that's grounds for disqualification. But I think Jake Ewert was like, these guys aren't going to fucking disqualify me. I'm a cash cow for them. So he just went for it and did it. And I think after that happened, they were probably like, all right, let's just pretend that rule never happened.
Yeah, probably.
If you need to know the seedings for this, Uppercut is obviously the 3 seed, Tombstone is the 30 seed, Mad Catter is the 14 seed, Captain Shredderator 19 seed, Ribot 6 seed, Dragon Slayer 27 seed, Black Dragon 11 seed, Hydra 22 seed. So yeah, let's go on to our second quadrant leader, which, oh god, it's hailing from New Zealand. It's coming. It's from the fucking seas. It's coming from overseas, down from yonder.
Sea grab.
Yep, bro. He's just KO'd Witchdoctor and took out Hydra too. His name is Endgame.
I thought you were talking about Minotaur.
No. Hey, look, it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, it's your brand.
Yeah, my brand. Let's go. But yeah, Endgame, very destructive robot so far. I wasn't too hyped about the Hydra win, but that Witchdoctor win was very impressive. I'll give it that.
Witchdoctor was very good.
Yeah. But, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on it being the second quadrant leader?
I agree with it. Like, the Hydra fight definitely wasn't the best in terms of performance-wise for Endgame, but that Witchdoctor fight was an absolute beast of a victory and stuff, including Pori gets to get Civilian to watch an anime because of it. And
Yeah,
Which I'm not
and
watching
the other
until
thing
I'm
the
not
other
watching
thing is
until Pori watches Toradora. So have fun with that, buddy.
that's fair. That's fair.
but then the other thing is that in my opinion, Endgame so far has had the hardest schedule with
Yeah,
Hydra
that's
and
true.
Witchdoctor in there.
Yes.
You could make an argument as to why the top seed could have it too, but yeah, I think a Hydra and Witchdoctor schedule so far is probably at the top in terms of quality of opponents, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
But yeah, let's go check out the bots that are in the second quadrant
I
with
didn't give my opinion on
yeah. What
Endgame,
about
man.
Pori?
Wow.
What's your opinion, buddy?
Okay, so I had a. I think they are second on my list, but I kind of put it on second on my list because I felt obligated to because it's the reigning champ. I mean, it still would have been like top 4, top 5, somewhere in that ballpark, but I feel like it being the reigning champion kind of gave it a little weight, and the fact that it did have, I'd say, like the second hardest schedule of the field so far.
Who's the
Um,
first?
we'll get to the first, but it did have. I mean, it beat Hydra, and it did have some good moments with that. It wasn't the best win for sure, but the Witchdoctor win was very clean and very good. Like he got that was gnarly and a very good performance on Endgame's part. So I mean, they're 100% a lock in the round of 32, 100%. And I'm sure if they don't get a top 4 seed, I'll PayPal Green $5. Like they're gonna get a high seed. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Yeah, now that we've all said our piece, let's go ahead and check the second quadrant bots, shall we? And yeah, this is definitely, instead of a quadrant with destructive bots. Well, there is destructive bots out there in this quadrant for sure. I'd say this is more of a quadrant that's filled with, like, good drivers. You got great drivers like Endgame, P1, Blip, Tantrum, Hypershock. But you still got destructive weapons like Endgame, so still a destructive weapon. Glitch looking hat with potential, Gigabyte always destructive. Hypershock Tantrum looking potentially destructive, and Valkyrie, who won most destructive of 2020. So yeah, what are your guys' opinion on this
True.
quadrant?
Yeah, kind of so far here, like P1 looked great after looking good so far. Got a win over Valkyrie, and then got a win over Jaeger and stuff. I don't think they wouldn't exactly be the highest seed in my books because that fight against Valkyrie, like it was a bad second half of the match for P1. Even though they did get like one big control moment in that. Hypershock and Gigabyte, like despite Gigabyte not having the best quality victory against Captain Strider, they've been looking good. Yeah, Hypershock looked great after that win against Slammo. Yeah, and then Valkyrie, he bounced back, had to get their first win of the season. Blip had a solid first outing, but gotta see them against a much bigger
Yeah,
opponent though, other than Rusty. Tantrum, they looked good for the most part after the first two matchups, but you can't take out of consideration the first 30 seconds of that fight with Lucky and stuff. And
true.
Yes.
stuff like what happened at the beginning of that match can't happen to Tantrum and could cause an early exit and stuff if something like that was to occur again.
Yeah, Porter, what you got?
Okay, so first off, we got Glitch. Glitch needs to get like a good win in its next 2 fights in order to be a top 32 lock. I feel because the Ghost Raptor win definitely was not a good win. It definitely had a lot of issues. If it can work through its issues, I feel like they could definitely make some big waves. I mean, we know the one fight. I mean, if it wins that one fight, we know it's top 32 lock 1000%.
Yeah.
I don't think either you would disagree with that.
No,
If Glitch beats Hydra.
Yeah.
I mean, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we don't know. P1, I think, is a lock already. Definitely. I mean, he's 2-0. Hopefully, he doesn't get snubbed again, but it has more quality opponents this time around, at least. Like, I mean, Valkyrie is definitely no slouch. And even Jaeger, like, even at 55th Street, like Jaeger definitely has a lot of potential to it. Like I feel like Jaeger could definitely be like the premier multibot, like especially considering all the like crap that the team went through and the fact that only one team member showed up for the 2 robot team. You know, like considering all that, like Jaeger was looking pretty good. Like it was driving around good. It looked like it had decent weapons for the size. Like that undercutter looks like it definitely dishes a good hit. But P1 made Jaeger its bitch, and you know it was very very nice. P1 I think is definitely in. Blip, I mean, we'll see. I think if it gets one more win, it's a lock for sure. I mean, it looked very good, but at the same time, it looked very good at a robot that probably had almost no chance of beating it. So let's see what it looks like when it fights a more competent robot. No offense to Rusty. I mean, it's cool for what it is, but the odds were
could beat
against
Duck,
Rusty in that. Rusty could beat Duck, yeah. Absolutely. Then we got Tantrum. Tantrum's a lock already, I feel. I mean, former semifinalist, two pretty good wins, but it doesn't get a high seed for the reasons Green mentioned at the beginning of that lucky fight, you know. But regardless, Tantrum's definitely very well driven. Like that driving in the Malice fight was like pristine. It was beautiful. Tantrum's definitely in it to win it. Valkyrie, we're kind of on the fence with this one because Valkyrie is like its first fight was a loss to P1. I mean, it still had some damaging moments for sure, but it definitely got its ass kind of handed to it. And for its second fight, I mean, it won, but like, how much can you really count a fight where like it hits the robot one time and it dies? Like, how much can you really count that for the for its strength of schedule? Like, you know, like last year you had P1 for example not getting because it fought Kronos and stuff. Meanwhile, Valkyrie is getting Triple Crown, which was a very experimental robot that definitely was not there yet. He just kind of like Todd Mendenhall, like vibing and experimenting. So we'll see. We'll see how Valkyrie performs in fight number 3. Hypershock looked very good with Slammo. I mean, we know Hypershock fights in the next episode, and I don't know who to predict. I'm probably going to predict Hypershock, but I think they're looking good though. Like I think they'll probably get into the round of 32, unless they really fumble the ball in their next 2 fights. Gigabyte, they have to do well in their next fight to get in. I feel they beat Captain Shredderator, but you know there wasn't really much to do there. You know, and then it got pretty unanimously beaten by Uppercut, although it did have a few good moments. So we'll see with Gigabyte. They'll probably get in, but we got to see who their third opponent is.
Yeah, know who their third opponent is already.
Yeah,
it's one of the 8. It's one of the other 7 robots on here.
Yeah.
Oh no! I don't know if that's a fight night fight actually.
Well, we won't go deep dive into it because I don't feel like doing
that. Because what I'm mentioning is definitely a leak, but I'll tell you off stream.
Yeah, that's probably a good call for that. But yeah, if you want to know the seeds, endgame obviously the 2 seed, Glitch 31 seed, P1 15 seed, Blip 18 seed, Tantrum is the 7 seed, Valkyrie 26 seed, Hypershock 10 seed, and Gigs is 23 seed. So, yeah, time to check out who our top bot is, and we all ranked it number 1, so it obviously gets it. This bot got 2 in, well, not, it didn't beat Minotaur by knockout, but it got 2 extremely impressive wins, both kind of winning by setting the bot on fire, even though Mad Catter wasn't really on fire, but there was a fire involved.
The mini bot had what was probably the biggest smoke coming out of it we've seen come out of a mini bot.
That's great.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that was insane.
But yeah, y'all already know what it is. Jameson likes to keep it 55th Street, so we're keeping it 55th Street too.
True.
Sawblaze is currently our top ranked bot. Yeah, just 2 extremely impressive wins so far. Looking extremely dominant right now. What are your guys' thoughts on getting the number 1 seed in this?
Yeah, nothing really much to say here. Sawblaze is going up against 2 huge opponents, and Minotaur and Mad Catter, and 2 robots that were forces to be reckoned with coming into this season, and Sawblaze just absolutely dominated. Like we thought Minotaur was a one-sided fight, but Mad Catter was an even more one-sided fight, in my opinion. That was coming after Mad Catter came out of such an impressive victory over Yeti and stuff, and great stuff from Jameson Go so far. Sawblaze is Sawblaze is high on my list for robots that could potentially take the giant nut this year.
Yeah.
True.
What do you got, Pori?
Like Green said, there's really not much to say. It's number 1 on my list for sure because it just had very dominant performances against 2 very good robots, and they haven't even really shown a sign of weakness outside of like that one hit from the Minotaur fight. Like Sawblaze is just on top of this, and they're just looking phenomenal this season. And even though Ribot's going to win the Giant Nut, if by some odd stretch where we enter a different, a different alternate universe where Ribot does not win the Giant Nut, I feel Sawblaze will be the one to win it. Honestly.
Well, we know who the number 1 seed is, so let's see who will have to fear the 1 seed by being in the same quadrant as it. And this is a weird quadrant, to say the very least. But, we got a huge mishmash of entire robots. You got, like, the hammer saws, like Sawblaze and Blacksmith. You got hammers like Shatter. You got control bots like Mammoth and Claw Viper. You got very destructive spinners like Rotator and Deep Six. And yeah, you got 2 top tier drivers in Sawblaze and Whiplash. So what's your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, quite a few big names here once again. Whiplash and Rotator both look terrific in their first fight, and I imagine their second fight's probably coming soon.
Oh yeah, I think it has to be next episode, probably.
Or the
Rotator, I don't know about Rotator. Like, personally, I'm actually predicting Rotator and Black Dragon is not the next main event, but the one following that and stuff. At least that's my guess, but I could very easily be wrong. Yeah, and then Shatter, they kind of fall in the same category as Whiplash and Rotator. They fought two great opponents and dominated both of them for the most part and stuff. Blacksmith, yeah, I think Blacksmith still has a good shot at the top 32. We know who their third opponent is, and I think it's probably 50-50, but I think if they win that fight, they're in, because they did have a pretty quality victory over free shipping, and they played well. They performed well in the fight with Shatter. Deep Six, like, they did have a good victory over Pain Train. Like, there was lots of destruction in that one, but we need to see Deep Six fight probably a more quality opponent and stuff, because like, while the destruction impressed me, the fight quality did not, in my opinion. And I think I think if Deep Six needs to win at least one of their main 2 fights with a quality victory, because I think if they lose their next 2 fights, I don't think they'll make the top 32. Claw Viper kind of falls in the same category as Deep Six. Great moment in that part of my French fight, great domination, but it's another one where great dominance in the fights, but the quality opponent just wasn't there because part of my French was just facing so many gremlins in that one. Yeah, and then Mammoth's the last one. Honestly, same thing, and stuff. Like, well, the loss against Tombstone, I would probably consider to be a good loss. Just the fact that they went up, that it was Tombstone they went up against, and they really held their own until the wheel came off. But I think Mammoth needs to win their third fight, or else I don't think they're going to make the top 32.
Corey, what do you got?
I thought Green was going to say 55th Street. No, but I agree with you on Mammoth for sure, because while it did get a win against Hijinks, it seemed like the win was more so Hijinks not working as opposed to Mammoth really provoking a lot, you know? Tombstone was definitely a good loss, but I feel like their next fight has to, at worst, be a good loss. You know, it has to be like a good loss at worst, or else I don't think that they are top 32 material. Or better yet, if they win their next fight, that'd be great. Whiplash, we've only seen one fight from them, but they were looking very good in that fight, and I think they're good to go as long as they don't like bomb their next two fights, which it's Whiplash, they probably won't. Claw Viper, like you said, it had a very good, impressive win, but it had a very good, impressive win against a weaker opponent that was having a lot of technical issues. So I feel Claw Viper has to get another win before it's in contention for the round of 32. I don't know who it's fighting next, but I guess we'll probably see in the next episode or two if I had to imagine. Shatter is 2-0. I think they're a lock already. I feel their next fight will pretty much determine how good of a seed is this robot getting. But they've been looking very good. They pummeled Sub-Zero. They did very good against Blacksmith. They did that weapon belt snipe, which was very juicy and nice. Meanwhile, Blacksmith, I think they lost to Shatter, but then they also beat free shipping. But the free shipping fight, admittedly, was a very close fight that some people didn't agree with, and that kind of looks bad on the resume. You didn't agree with it? Okay, that's fair. That kind of looks bad on the resume. I feel Blacksmith kind of has to win its next fight to be in the round of 32. I mean, we know its next fight, and it might win that. I don't know. I probably will bet on Blacksmith in that fight, but I don't know really. Rotator, I mean, they looked phenomenal in the Kraken fight. Although Kraken did have a good moment early on, I think as long as Rotator doesn't blow it in its next two fights, they should be good to go. I don't see them doing that. Like even with the Black Dragon fight, I probably have Black Dragon winning that, but it's probably not like going to be a unanimous sweep of a fight, you know. Meanwhile, Deep Six, I agree with Green completely. They looked amazing in their last fight, blowing up freaking Pain Train, and it looked really good, but Pain Train, we haven't seen much of them yet, and we haven't seen if they're necessarily a good opponent. I'm leaning towards no currently, but I want to see some Pain Train redemption so I can rub it in Captain Mantine's face. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like Deep Six has to win one of its next two fights to be around a 32 contender for sure. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, enough about talking about the seeds. How about we get to this bracket? Which, yeah, this is a huge bracket we got up. So yeah, this is a pretty fun bracket. Let's get this thing started with Saw.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Where's Deadlift?
Not in.
Minotaur as well.
Come on, man. Where's Minotaur? Come on,
yeah,
man.
where's Deadlift and Minotaur?
Here, how about I check out
this bracket is rigged.
Okay,
wow.
how about we'll check Right. Deadlift for you was 37. I don't want to hear it, Pory. Minotaur for
Yeah, but I had an arm.
Minotaur for green was 30. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to hear it, Pory. Mister, I don't have deadlift in the top 32 in my rankings. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but we're gonna bounce back. We're gonna go away. You'll see.
Yeah, at least Minotaur is in my top 32, mister.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
They only had one fight so far. They haven't gotten a chance to beat every other robot yet.
Yeah, well, let's get on to this bracket where our first fight
Damn.
of the bracket is Sawblaze versus Mammoth. The 1 seed versus the 32 seed. Sawblaze, as we said, very impressive 2 wins against a Minotaur and Mad Catter. Man, oh god,
we need to discuss this.
No,
one.
Can we just vote Sawblaze to go to the round of 16, please? I don't want to.
No, because Mammoth is easily gonna win this one.
Okay.
You okay?
There was a hint of sarcasm in that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like as much as neat as Mammoth is. Sawblaze is definitely.
Although this would be a fun fight to watch Sawblaze just ultimately fuck up.
Oh yeah, because I think it's a matter of like I'm betting like 30 to 45 seconds. Sawblaze eventually gets into positions where they could just one shot split one of those pipes and destroy the structure of Mammoth.
Yeah,
with that.
Mammoth didn't have a shot. I'm sorry, Mammoth.
Yeah, but
shout out to Mammoth for sending me some awesome parts, though.
They never sent me parts. They could. We could squash the beef right now. Send me some parts.
But up next, we got our 16 seed versus 17 seed matchup. Whiplash versus Claw Viper. Whiplash currently got a win over Bloodsport. Although some people say it's a lucky win, some people say the loser of Whiplash's fight was robbed. I don't think it was necessarily robbed because people claim that the shelf robbed Bloodsport. I don't think so. But
I mean, it would have flipped over on the. If it would have flipped over on the floor, it would have had the same result. The shelf just made it more dynamic.
Yeah, and on the opposite coin, we got Claw Viper. 17 seed 1-0 took out, pardon my French, in a fairly fun and dominant fight. Although it was against, as Porian Green said, not a good opponent. So what's your guys' thoughts on this matchup?
I think Whiplash is just gonna hands down outdrive Claw Viper in this one. Like, well, Claw Viper's driver is definitely good and stuff, just knowing his success with like War Stop, when Warhawk was in Battlebots in 2018 and 19. And the speed still rocks on Claw Viper. I don't think they're gonna outdrive Matty Vasquez. I don't think Matty Vasquez is gonna give them a really good shot to get a lift and a suplex on them and so on. I think Whiplash is gonna win this one. And I don't know about easily, but I think they'll have it by a knockout.
Tori, what do you got?
Yeah. It's pretty much how I feel. I feel like Claw Viper might have a good moment in the fight, but I feel like there's not really much shot for them because Whiplash is just a terrifying opponent.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Whiplash for this one too, but I'm actually going to go for a judge's decision because I don't feel like Whiplash's spinner is powerful enough to take out Claw.
I'm thinking judge's decision too, yeah.
But, yeah, Whiplash unanimously makes its way into the round of 16, where it will have a rematch against Sawblaze.
Who?
Alright, next fight, we got a rematch on our hands. We got Shatter versus Blacksmith. Shatter beat Blacksmith in this fight, and also took out Sub-Zero in a very fun and extremely destructive fight. Whereas we got Blacksmith, a bot who has a new design on its hands. We got what it likes to call a power saw, but I'm just going to call it a hammer saw because I feel like it. But yeah, do you guys think that Shatter and Blacksmith's strategy would change at all if they had a rematch like this?
Shatter's strategy would probably not change because I think they're Like, I don't think the forks exactly work exactly the way they wanted to, and they also didn't have a lot of push power. But I think push power is part of the problem with with Shatter's design and stuff, like the Omni Wheels part, because it kind of reduces their push power. But I don't think Shatter's strategy would change. Blacksmith, an adjustment I think I could see them make is going with a chain guard, similar to like what Shatter came in with for when they fought. But even if they did put in a chain guard there, they're similar to like what Shatter has, part of their belt's still going to be exposed for it to still work right. And so I think Shatter will still have a relatively easy time getting the belt, assuming that's going to be their strategy once again. So I think Shatter's probably going to win this in a similar way to last time, but who knows?
Corey, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you got.
Yeah.
So are you going Shatter, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Are you just going to keep saying yeah?
Yeah.
Say yeah if you think Robot sucks.
Robot's coming all the way. I don't want to hear it.
Wow. But yeah, Shatter goes on to the round of 16, where we'll take on the winner of what I would see as an extremely destructive fight. We got Rotator and Deep Six. We got debatably the most destructive horizontal spinner of all time versus debatably the most destructive vertical spinner of all time. Should be an extremely explosive matchup. What do you guys think? What would happen in this fight?
I feel like if Deep 2 went weapon on weapon, Deep 6 would hands down win it, but Rotator has the durability to where I think they'd be able to take those weapon on weapon hits.
Yeah.
Like,
also, I don't
well,
think
Deep 6 did right themselves, like when they did get flipped in the Pain Train fight. It's still, I'm still concerned about their like stability, their gyroscopic issues, because Victor Soto is a great driver, and Rotator is fast and maneuverable. Like, it's very possible for Rotator to take advantage of those gyro issues and maybe get a wheel or something like that, or mess with Deep Six's stability, get one of those back bars, or whatever you want to call those. But, yeah. My vote would be Rotator for this one by a knockout, because I don't think this fight's going to go to the judges, no matter who wins this one.
Yeah. As much as I want Deep Six to win because it's one of my favorite robots, they don't really have much of a chance against Rotator because I don't think Victor would let Deep Six's weapon hit him because he's too good of a driver. He's more agile. He just get around to the sides, chop up the wheels, and that'll be that. But yeah, I mean, if Deep Six actually did land a hit, they might be able to get the dub. But yeah, I'm going Rotator, and it's a Deep Six fight, so obviously it's going to be a KO.
I do think Rotator will win this, but I think it's extremely close. I do feel Deep Six definitely has the possibility to take out Rotator, but you know, Rotator moving on.
They have a possibility, yeah.
Rotator moving on to the round of 16, where it will take on Shatter. But yeah, we're going into the fourth quadrant now, where we have Jackpot versus Lockjaw, a 2020 rematch that happened. So when this fight happened, Jackpot sniped a weapon belt, and yeah, that was that basically. What do you guys think would happen in a rematch like this?
Lockjaw would probably go with one adjustment Lockjaw did make for the Shatter fight in last season was they actually applied a weapon chain guard, which actually did save their weapon because apparently there was a shot that Shatter landed that was right on the weapon chain guard and saved their weapon from stopping in that one before they eventually started smoking and burnt out because of that. But yeah, Jackpot's also had a fair share of improvement so far. Jackpot's looked great right now, and I personally think if these two went weapon on weapon, I think Jackpot would definitely win that, but Lockjaw's weapon clearly still has some gremlins in it. It did look great in the bounties, but it went up in smoke about halfway through the Copperhead fight. I do think this fight's going to go to the judges because Lockjaw has proven their durability is real this year, much better than it was last season. But I think Jackpot has the advantage in terms of being able to do more damage, and I think they'll win this fight that way.
Yeah. Corey, what do you
Even
got?
though I know at least one of you is going to disagree.
What do you got, Corey?
No, I have
pretty sure.
Jackpot for sure. Lockjaw's a good robot, but Jackpot's on fire this season, and Lockjaw's on fire too. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jackpot, probably by a judge's decision.
So yeah, Jackpot gets into the round of 16 where it will
Well,
take.
who do you got, Civilian Arc?
Yeah, because you're the person I was thinking would disagree with
No,
that.
I got Jackpot for this one. In all honesty, maybe if we.
Wow, he's going against his predicted champ.
Well,
What?
Lockjaw's not my pretty good champ anymore, so I don't want to hear it.
Who's your predicted champ now?
Tantrum. Yeah, okay. At least I don't have fucking Ribot, you scrub.
Listen, the Ribot's going all the way. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, going all the way to the Battlebots championship.
Bro, we take out every robot. We take out every heavyweight, super heavyweight, featherweight. We don't care.
All right, going into next fight, which should be an extremely destructive matchup if this match ever happens. We got the 13 seed Copperhead versus the 20 seed Witchdoctor. Copperhead coming off of a very great win. Well, I wouldn't say great win, but it came out of a great fight against Lockjaw. Big slugfest there. And then Witchdoctor currently 1-1, who beat Duck and lost to Endgame. So yeah, this should be an extremely close fight. So I want to hear from you guys first before I make my vote, because I honestly don't know who to vote.
Yeah, this one is kind of an interesting one to call here, because on one hand, Witchdoctor hinted after in their interview with Endgame that it is possible that they're going to bring out forks for at least one of their following fights and stuff. And I think even if they use that, they wouldn't win the ground game against Copperhead, because Copperhead is one of the lowest of the ground robots in the field. But I think Witchdoctor would probably be better off with Reach in this one, but they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna win a weapon on weapon exchange with Copperhead and stuff and that drum spinner. And I think Copperhead's gonna win it based off of that. And I'm gonna guess by a knockout in a minute and a half.
Corey, what do you got?
I have Copperhead too, I think. Witchdoctor's a good bot, but like Copperhead is almost all weapon, and while there is definitely the possibility of Witchdoctor getting a hit on Copperhead that like kills half of its drive. I mean, Lockjaw did. I think that I feel like Witchdoctor is a bit too much of a glass cannon. Maybe not glass cannon. I mean, that's not the right way to put it, but it hasn't proven to be reliable enough yet. Like even its weapon even died to Duck. You know, like we'll see. I mean, in my opinion, could change with their third fight, but yeah, I'm gonna go Copperhead on this one.
So, unanimous vote for Copperhead, because I'll just go with the majority here and go Copperhead as well. Copperhead moving on to the round of 16 where it will take on Jackpot. Should be a fun fight there. But, yeah, moving on, we got the 5 seed Fusion taking on the 28 seed Bloodsport. Fusion coming off of a hot win against Cobalt. And then Bloodsport coming off of a pretty impressive loss against Whiplash. I'll give him credit on how it performed. It was good driving on Justin Marple's part. But yeah, what is your guys' thoughts on this one? Because these are two extremely destructive spinners clashing here, and this is a fight that could have happened twice, but we didn't get.
Yeah, this one is actually a really hard one to call, in my opinion, because on because like I think it kind of depends on what weapon Fusion leads with for this one. Because I think if they led with the horizontal spinner, I think Bloodsport's gonna lose that exchange pretty brutally. Because I think Fusion has the bigger horizontal spinner, but the vert is kind of in question here. Because the one thing Fusion's vert has that I think Bloodsport could really take advantage of is it doesn't have a lot of reach. I think Bloodsport, even if they connected with the vert, I think they could connect with part of the frame too, and
Yeah.
potentially mess up bits of that. But just because, but Reese also like Fusion looked great after that Cobalt fight, including the gyro issues were gone in that thing, at least for that fight. And if Fusion keeps going like that, it's like he could. I think, and if Fusion doesn't explode as well, I'm probably gonna pick Fusion for this one. But this is a really hard one to call, in my opinion, and because I think the horizontal spinner would lead them to victory, but who knows?
Corey, what do you got?
Okay, so we're gonna go under the assumption that Fusion has completely fixed its inner gremlins and its like exploding problem. If it has fixed that problem, I think Fusion wins this with ease for sure. I mean, Bloodsport definitely has a shot, but I can't help but think that Fusion has this if they're if they're more reliable. That I mean that is a big if, but they showcased it at least a little bit in their first fight. So I guess we'll go Fusion just because we haven't seen a second fight yet.
Personally, I'd go Bloodsport for this, and here's my reasoning. Uh, we haven't Fusion didn't take a single weapon shot from Cobalt in that fight, so yeah, I'd kind of
That's true.
I'd kind of probably predict Bloodsport to win this one, just because you can't really avoid Bloodsport.
Wow.
You can't really.
Wow, you're getting
What?
letting Fusion be in the quarterfinals. Wow.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I was fucking blind. But yeah, you can't really avoid Bloodsport's weapon all that much, so that's why I'd go Bloodsport. But whatever. All right.
So that's fair though. Like I'm very I like I said, like I Fusion hasn't
Little
been in
hesitant
enough.
on that pick as well, but
Yeah, like we have to see a second. If we see the second fight, this could I could very well look back at this and be like, Mike, take age like milk, because we don't know because we haven't seen Fusion last the full 3 minutes yet, and we like you said we haven't seen weapon on weapon collision. But I think I also did it based on the fact that Bloodsport tends to stop spinning halfway through the fight.
Fair enough. All right. Next fight, we got Scorpios versus Riptide. Scorpios came off of a pretty impressive win against Blade. Riptide came off of a controversial yet impressive win against Huge. I'll credit where credit's due. But yeah, what do you guys think about this matchup?
this one personally is a really tough one to call as well, primarily because we haven't really seen much from Riptide. Because like the Huge fight like they had Huge stuck in the screws like less than 30 seconds into that match. Like we saw some great hits from them. Like we know their weapon power is pretty awesome, but in terms of like their durability, reliability, and so on, we don't know much about that because that fight didn't last too long. And but then on Scorpios on the other side, we know from Scorpios' past that that robot is insanely durable. It's very reliable, and they got a lot more power to that weapon for this year with some of the holes and stuff they put into Blade in that fight. But in terms of how I think this fight will go, like I kind of see a similar fight to Scorpios and Copperhead in 2019 because I think Riptide could potentially find a corner or something like that they could get a bite in and send Scorpios flying. But of course, like I said, we haven't really seen much from Riptide. Like how do we know they're not going to like die out or something like that? Well, I wouldn't count on something like that actually happening. Zach Lyle's driving abilities are also legit, so we could easily see him like get to the sides, Riptide or something like that, and land some devastating shots with their spinner and maybe kill something.
Boy, what do you got?
I pick Scorpios.
Yes, hello. I'm probably gonna go Scorpios just because Scorpios has proven to be a high tier, very well driven, very destructive bot, and we've only seen like 30 seconds of Riptide, and we haven't seen it in an actual like fight. It was just like box rush, and Huge happened to get KO'd from it. So we'll have to see. You know, like I said with the fusion fight, maybe we'll see another Riptide fight, and I'll completely look back on this and see my take age like milk. But yeah, Scorpios probably has it.
Personally, I'd actually vote Riptide for this one, just because my logic in Battlebots is always Vert could beat Hammer Sawbot, so yeah. But, well, Scorpios goes into the round of 16 where it will take on Fusion. Should be a fun fight there. But yeah, now we're going into our second quadrant where we got our first fight, which is the defending champs Endgame versus the rookies Glitch. Endgame, 2 impressive knockouts. Well, not impressive knockout over Hydra. But impressive knockout over Witchdoctor, and it fought Hydra, I guess. But Glitch had it had a fight against Ghost Raptor. It kind of had some mobility issues, and I think Green disagreed with the decision in the Ghost Raptor fight.
Yes, I did disagree with the decision. I felt Ghost Raptor should have had it.
But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this fight?
I think Endgame's just gonna fuck up Glitch in this one and win it
Same.
faster and win it faster than when they beat Perfect Phoenix, Tombstone, Hypershock, and so on.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat there. Pory, are you in the same boat?
Green said a curse word that rules.
Yes, Green cursing on camera.
I think.
Shit.
Oh yeah, Shaq, let's go.
Oh, come on! Like you literally set me up for that. So you
That's good. Like you get credit for that, 100%.
Major Green score credit.
So, Endgame probably wins this, but I don't think it's as one-sided as everyone thinks. I think Endgame definitely wins. I mean, again, Glitch hasn't really had a chance to show what it's made of because it was having a lot of gremlins in its first fight. Maybe it's more agile as it goes on. But, yeah, Endgame.
Alright, so Endgame unanimously makes its way into the round of 16 where it will take on the winner of P1 versus Blip. So, yeah, that should be a fun one. So, P1 has a hot streak right now. Big glow up this season. Currently at 2-0, taking out bots like Valkyrie and the opposing team in Akame ga Kill. So, yeah, that's fun. And then Blip, who's beaten Rusty. This should be a fun fight, though. You got like 2 lifter bots, well, 2 flipper/lifter bots who have pretty impressive driving feats on their hands. So, and they're both pretty quick and agile as well. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this fight?
This is the driving battle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Brandon and Aaron are both excellent drivers here. But I think if the second Blip gets underneath P1 and lands a flip, I think this fight might be Blip's from the taking, because I do think P1 might have the lower ground between the two, but in terms of weapon power, Blip wins hands down in that one, because P1's weapon just hasn't done enough, in my opinion, in order to qualify as like a more powerful weapon. Like Blip, like P1's definitely an excellent control bot, and I think if they could control this fight, I think they could get a judge's decision victory. But right now, I'm thinking Blip by judge's decision. Close one, too, because I think this will be a close driving battle between the two.
Corey, what do you got?
Well, Blip hasn't done enough, I feel, to show me what it's made of. It's looking very good so far, but its win is against Rusty, so like that has to be put into consideration. I'm gonna probably go with P1 on this, but that's gonna be a really close call, I think. And I don't blame you if you vote for Blip, because that could go either way.
So, okay, here's my thing about this fight. I think it all comes down to who's the better driver, and in my opinion, I feel like while both bots are two, Brandon and Aaron are pretty good drivers. I feel like Aaron has just proven himself so much more as a driver than P1. I mean, yeah, P1 was pretty impressive in the Valkyrie and Jaeger fight. But come on, Aaron's tangoed with bots like Valkyrie, who, P1 also tangoed with. But it's also tangoed with, Fusion, Bloodsport, Sawblaze, put Endgame on the ropes. So, yeah, I feel like just down to the more how much Aaron has proved as a driver, I'm going to go for Blip in this one.
That's fair.
So, yeah, this is our first seed upset of the tournament, as the higher seed did not advance. So, yeah, and then next we got our second Seems Reasonable robot on this bracket. We got the 7 seed Tantrum taking on an opponent it took on in 2020, 26 seed Valkyrie. Now, Tantrum won this fight. Let's keep it 55th Street. It won the fight. But yeah, what's your
if it had been reliable, it would have won. Yeah.
What's your guys' opinion on a rematch like this?
Believe it or not, I have a feeling one or both of you is going to disagree with me, but I'm still going to pick Valkyrie for this because
Based.
yeah, I know one of you because like Valkyrie, like if that speed controller didn't blow up in the fight with P1, their weapon would have still been going, and apparently they got that all figured out, and it was a quick fix too. And I do think Tantrum would have definitely hands down have the edge in like aggression and control, but we haven't seen them take many hits from spinners so far this season. We don't know how tanky it is this season compared to last season, and as I've said in my podcast and stuff, I do think Tantrum is a little bit overhyped. I do like Tantrum a lot. I think Tantrum is a great bot, and I think they do have potential to make a deep run. But I do have some big concerns for Tantrum, and I actually think Valkyrie would win this one. But I definitely could see why it would go the other way.
I'm going Tantrum. Pory, what's your vote?
This one could go either way, but I am probably gonna go Tantrum on this, just because the odds are kind of against Valkyrie with fighting a vert and all that, and it was winning the initial fight until it died, and I think that's an issue Tantrum wouldn't be facing this time around. But this could really go either way.
So yeah, Tantrum moves on to the round of 16, where it will take on the winner between Hypershock and Gigabyte. So yeah, that'll be a fun one if that ever happens. But
ooh, Valkyrie's moving on.
Shut up.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so round of 16, and no, round of 32 matchup between Hypershock and Gigabyte. Hypershock currently at an impressive 1-0, taking out the bot itself, Slimo, and Gigabyte at a kind of mid-tier 1-1 so far. Lost to Uppercut, but gave out some good shots, but beat Captain Shredderator in a weird fight. But yeah, what is your guys' thoughts on this fight?
This one might be another one where I think you both might disagree, but I'm actually thinking Gigabyte for this one because Hypershock looked great in the Slammo fight, but their weapon did die in this one, showing that their reliability and durability is still like not at like 100%. Although it's honestly has not really been at 100% or something like that, even in like 2019 where it was probably closest. But I think Gigabyte's got the durability and stuff to where they could handle weapon on weapon shots with Hypershock, but I don't know what to expect here because I expect Hypershock's probably going to downright box rush Gigabyte and have them in seconds, like what he did with Valkyrie. But who knows? I think because I feel like this fight, like you're gonna need to last like the 2 to 3 minutes. You're gonna need to last 2 to 3 minutes in order to win this fight because both robots, I think, have the capability and durability to go that long. But I think Gigabyte's a more durable robot between the two, and that's why I'd consider Gigabyte for this one.
Corey, what's your vote?
Um, I'm probably gonna go Hypershock just because I feel like the only way Gigabyte really can win this is if they either A, shear off Hypershock's wheels, all four of them, or B, Hypershock does the thing and dies. And they looked good in their first fight. I mean, maybe in their next two fights they don't look as good. We'll see. But I mean, I think a box rush is inevitable, and it's going to be a very hard fight for Gigabyte. So I'm going to probably go Hypershock in this one.
Yeah, I feel like the speed of Hypershock will really just do Gigabyte in because Hypershock was looking like a speedy boy against Slammo. Like it was zooming. And yeah, it was
True.
and while Green does make a fair point that Hypershock's reliability is still in question, I feel like Hypershock's speed could still put Gigabyte on the ropes, even if it does lose its weapon, because Hypershock honestly seems like it could have the tankiness to, take a few Gigabyte shots, in my opinion. As, yeah, we haven't really seen this version of Hypershock take weapon shots, but I'm sure, much like how Hypershock was able to, handle shots from Bite Force a few times in 2019, I'm sure Hypershock can fare the same way against Gigabyte for at least a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna go Hypershock on this one. So yeah, Hypershock goes on to the round of 16 where this will be a huge driving fight.
Yeah.
But next up, we got a fight that to many people would be a huge dream match for a lot of people. We got two of the most destructive bots out there. We got Uppercut, the 3 seed, and Tombstone, the 30 seed. Uppercut currently at 2-0, taking out, bots like Gigabyte and Free Shippin', two very destructive wins. And Tombstone, who's at a kind of weak 1-1 right now, lost to Captain Shredderator, but kind of a weak win to Mammoth. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on this fight?
This is a tough one to call, in my opinion, because either Tombstone's gonna have to avoid the weapon on Uppercut, because if they go weapon on weapon, like that's a weapon on weapon exchange that Tombstone is definitely not going to win and stuff. And I could potentially see the bar on Tombstone breaking within like a few weapon on weapon shots. Ray Billings is going to need to be on point with his driving for this fight if he is to win this one, and going to need to target the sides and the back side of Uppercut. And yeah, and then Uppercut's just going to need to keep its front towards Tombstone. And those reasons and stuff is why I think Uppercut has the better shot at this one, and why I think Uppercut would take this one.
Or what do you got?
Yeah. This fight's probably going to be like 2 hits and it's done. And quite frankly, those 2 hits could go either way. But I think Uppercut probably has the edge, especially with how Tombstone's looking like it's having a lot of issues this year. So, yeah, I'm going to say Uppercut.
I feel like if I feel like if this fight happened at like the beginning of 2021 and this was a first fight card fight, I probably would go Tombstone in this, but we've seen 2 fights out of both of these bots now. Uppercut's been looking extremely impressive. Tombstone's been pretty in question so far, so I mean, I'm probably gonna have to go Uppercut in this, but if we were starting off from scratch and we didn't know how these bots performed and this was their first fight ever, I'd probably go Tombstone, but for this I'll go Uppercut.
Beast.
But yeah, the 3 seed moving on, so we're proving the curse wrong.
Beast.
So yeah, Uppercut going to the round of 16 where it will take on the winner between Mad Catter and Captain Shredderator. Mad Catter currently 1-1, taking out an extremely potent Yeti, but losing to the 1 seed Sawblaze. While Captain Shredderator, very iffy this season, very iffy. Winning a decent fight to Tombstone, but losing a weird fight to Gigabyte. So what's your guys' thoughts on this fight?
I think Mad Catter hands down on this one. Design advantage, and Captain Shredder proved after their second fight that the internal issues that they've had within the past few seasons are still there. Is that costed them the fight with Gigabyte after you could probably say they were ahead on points in that fight? And Mad Catter just needs one flip, and they definitely have the angled front to get the weapon on weapon shot needed to flip over Captain Shredderator. But yeah, I think Captain Shredderator is probably going to lose by a knockout in this one.
Corey, are you on the same boat as that?
Yeah, pretty much. There's not much Captain Shredderator can do, especially since Mad Catter has that new armor that they haven't used yet, but like it's like the beta armor around it. Like that's gonna be really hard for Captain Shredderator to combat. So yeah, I don't see how Captain Shredderator wins this fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm going Mad Catter as well. So now we got Pori's predicted champ Ribot taking out currently my favorite robot so far since it, humiliated Duck and drove Hal Rucker to retiring. Well,
He's not retiring, he's just getting rid of Duck.
Yeah, retiring Duck. So, yeah, this should be a Ribot fight. Ribot winning a fight. But,
Yeah, Robot's definitely winning this fight.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
Yeah, the only reason Dragon Slayer is up here right now is just because it has a win. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, it's probably not going to make the bracket realistically. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it will upset one of its next 2 opponents. I kind of doubt it, but anything's possible, I suppose.
Like, if I had to rank all these bots, Dragon Slayer would probably be the 32 seed in this. But because we're just adding up rankings, Dragon Slayer is higher than some of the bots here. So yeah.
Yeah, I do think Ribot's going to easily win this one, but I think they'd go with the Undercutter for this one.
Yeah, I think I actually
Ribot's shown that they've got more mobility and better mobility with the Undercutter, which is why they went with the Undercutter against Uppercut and stuff, just because they wanted to use that to their advantage. And I think they'd try to go with that and try to get to the sides of the backside of Dragon Slayer, try to avoid the weapon, just because Dragon Slayer proved in the Duck fight, they also have ground game. They got underneath Duck's lifter with ease from the start of that fight, and there is a possible chance that if Robot did go with the vertical spinner for this one, and they went weapon on weapon, and Dragon Slayer was to win those exchanges, that Ribot could potentially be in serious trouble. So I think the Undercutter would probably be a wise strategy.
I actually do agree with you, Green. I think it would go with the horizontal spinner, if I'm being honest.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
But yeah, Ribot moving on to the round of 16, where it will take on either one of Green's favorite bots of all time, or one of Oblivion's favorite bots of all time. We got the
imagine if Oblivion was here.
Yeah.
He would be going. He and I would probably be going off each other about this one.
But yeah, we got the 11 seed Black Dragon versus the 22 seed Hydra. Black Dragon currently 1-0 against Ice Wave, while Hydra's at 1-1 against taking a loss against Endgame and taking a win against Gruff. So, yeah, what do you guys think would happen in this fight?
I think the start of this fight, Hydra is gonna have the start of this one, but I kind of see a little bit of a similar case to Minotaur and Hydra. Just the fight won't end that quickly and stuff, because Black Dragon's weapon is not at Minotaur's level, in my opinion. But I think we're gonna start off seeing, because like if these two go head on, Hydra's gonna win the ground game, no doubt. Like Black Dragon does have decent ground game because like we were able to get underneath some big robots like Ribot. There's probably the big example I could name and stuff. And but
Ah,
if Black Dragon gets to the sides of Hydra and stuff, because they looks like they do have their fancy driving tactics where yeah they'll try to get at their opponents from an angle where they'll be able to turn and get a free shot on the sides and stuff, which is what they were trying to do in the Copperhead fight, but Zach knew that those were coming, and so he was able to hold off Black Dragon on those tactics. But I think if Black Dragon gets to the sides, like I don't know about the first timer and stuff, because like I said, Black Dragon's weapon is not at the level Minotaur's weapon is at. I think they could get the victory, but the other thing is Hydra's unproven in this one in terms of their flipper strength. Like their ground game is still as great as it used to be, but their flipper power is not there yet. Because like we saw them land quite a few flips on Gruff, but they were not strong, and that's a concern as of now. And I do think Black Dragon's going to win this one. I'm going to say by judge's decision, just because also the arena and the judging criteria massively favors Black Dragon over Hydra, but who knows? So,
Pory,
yeah.
what you got?
Uh, I'm probably gonna have to agree with Green here. As long as Black Dragon can at some point get underneath Hydra, I think they got it. I think that weapon is damaging enough that it could KO Hydra, quite honestly. But it could go the other way. Hydra could get underneath the Black Dragon pretty easily, probably, and flip it around. But we also haven't seen too phenomenal of a flipping performance from Hydra yet, so who knows? But it's a tight one, but I'm gonna probably go Black Dragon.
Yeah. I feel like if Hydra's flipper power was, like, better, I might go Hydra. But Hydra's flipper power against Gruff was just so bad. Well, I wouldn't say bad,
Yeah,
but just, like, not what we've seen from Hydra in the
it was like
past.
what it was like the Whiplash fight. Like
Yeah,
it could flip, but it wasn't like sky high like it was.
yeah. But,
And
yeah,
shout out to Oblivion, who would probably be going off at us right now. He was here.
Black Dragon
I
moves on
And
to
I
believe.
the
miss Oblivion.
Black Dragon moves
Yeah.
on to the round of 16 where we'll take on Ribot. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun one when we get to that one, eh?
Yeah, where Black Dragon would fuck up Ribot again.
No, I have opinions on that. We'll get to it.
Okay,
Yep,
so
we'll get to it eventually.
yeah, where you guys are gonna try your hardest to persuade me into voting for your bot.
Yeah, I have a good argument though.
Okay, so but before we get into all that fun, we got Sawblaze versus Whiplash, a rematch from the first ever fight in 2020, where Sawblaze just gave Whiplash hell. And but upsets can happen, and Matt Vasquez, he always has an eye for revenge. So yeah, what do you guys think would happen in this fight?
Okay. I think Sawblaze has this again, to be honest, but I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as the last fight. Because I think Whiplash will be ready for this fight more so. Like, they won't make the same mistakes. They presumably won't use, like, those flat fronts that, like, didn't do anything. Like, they'll try to do a little bit of ground game. But I don't think I think they'll come up a little short. I think it'll be a close fight, but I think Sawblaze.
Green, what you got?
Yeah, I felt Whiplash did not do a great job strategizing the last
Yeah,
time they fought, but I think they're probably going to try to go for more of a ground game approach, because Jameson Go was right when they fought the first time that whoever was going to win the ground game was going to win that fight, and that is practically the reason why Sawblaze won that fight. But while Whiplash was able to get underneath Hydra and stuff, but I still think Sawblaze is going to take this one, because Whiplash has proven they do have ground game capabilities, but I'm not sure if it's at the level where they'll be able to take out Sawblaze and stuff compared to how they took out Hydra. But I agree with Pory that I think this is going to be a much closer fight than what it was last time, and less one-sided. But I'm still gonna say Sawblaze. On the other hand, well, no, Pory also said that too. But
What?
yeah,
Green.
I think Sawblaze is gonna win this one again and move on.
Yeah. I'd actually go for Whiplash in this one just because my stupid Battlebots logic. So, yeah. But yeah, the 1 seed moves on to the quarterfinals where it will take on the winner between Shatter and Rotator. Yeah, I have honest to God no idea what the outcome of this fight will be. Shatter looking pretty impressive as a 2-0 robot, but goddamn, that fight against Kraken and for Rotator was amazing. So what are your guys' thoughts on a matchup like this?
I think the judging criteria just really favors Rotator in this one, and that weapon on Rotator was fierce in that one, and in that fight against Kraken. And while Shatter is also pretty durable and pretty well armored themselves, but it's going to come down to how well can Rotator take hits from that hammer, because I don't think we've seen Rotator fight an overhead attacker other than Sawblaze. I think Sawblaze
And that's not even
by overhead attacker I'm meaning like hammer
yeah, and
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Sawblaze at
But
the time wasn't even a hammer saw at that time, so
A Rotator fought Blacksmith.
Blacksmith too, yeah.
yeah, but
But
wasn't
they didn't
yeah
even
they
take
yeah they didn't even
any
take a
hits
shot
from that hammer too.
because they
But
like
Yeah.
took the
But
shit.
yeah, regardless, I would probably go with Rotator with this one. I think they would probably actually go with I think they'd probably go with the vertical spinner on the upper area rather than go with an
Vertical.
undercutter, even though we know
Wow,
Shatter's
Rotator has a
not.
vertical spinner.
What?
You said
He
You know
said
what I
vertical
mean.
spinner.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah.
But similar strategy what they did with Beta, but we know Shatter Adam Wrigley's not gonna hesitate when it comes to trying to fire the hammer into Rotator's weapon and try to stall it. It could come down to what happens from there, whether it's like Shatter loses the hammerhead again, or if Rotator loses their spinner. But that could really determine who wins this fight. I'd probably say Rotator right now, but could see why you'd pick Shatter.
Corey, what you got?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go Rotator as well because Rotator kind of looking like a snack right now. You know,
Fuck.
look at it. It's looking like a snack.
What are you
And
talking
I'm gonna
about?
have to go Rotator on that.
Okay, then. Personally,
But what's the problem? It looks good. It looks good. It's got a good spinner. It's probably gonna run it upside down, and it's gonna, Shatter's probably gonna still slam into it with his hammer. But I don't think that's gonna work favorably for Shatter, unfortunately.
yeah. All right, we go into our quadrant 4 round of 16 matchups. First up, we got the 4 seed Jackpot versus 13 seed Copperhead. Both bots previously undefeated in the regular season and last season. Copperhead took a win to Lockjaw this season so far, while Jackpot's taken out Malice and Deadlift so far. So, what is your guys' opinion on this matchup?
As much as I love Jackpot, and Jackpot's one of my favorite robots, I don't think they're gonna win against Copperhead and stuff. Like Jackpot's definitely does have some ground game up front, but I don't think it's gonna match Copperhead. And I think Copperhead will just be able to go to work on Jackpot with that drum spinner, knock it back, heck, flip it over a few times, and I'm not sure about the durability of Jackpot could be in question here, because we haven't seen them stop working when in a way that's not them being stuck upside down. So we don't, if that even makes any sense, but we don't know the
Yeah.
durability of Jackpot that well. even with the seasons they've been here so far, and that's probably one thing that concerns me in this one, and why I'd probably pick Copperhead for this one.
Pory, what you got?
Green, you convinced me. I was gonna go Jackpot, but yeah, I think Copperhead probably has this, but it's gonna be a close one for sure.
In all honesty, I'm gonna go Jackpot for this one. But I feel like it would be a very extremely close fight because, yeah, well, Jackpot's weapon just seems extremely deadly. But yeah, I see your guy. I see Green's argument here. Like, it'd definitely be a close one. And yeah, I see where Green's coming from in that. So yeah, Copperhead makes a big upset by taking out a top 4 bot and going into the quarterfinals, where it will take on the winner between Fusion and Scorpios. That should be a fun match. So let's get right into it. We got Fusion, the 5 seed, and the 12 seed Scorpios. So yeah, both bots have been pretty impressive this season. What's your guys? But we got two great drivers here. Reese has shown a good job handling Fusion this season, and Zach Lytle's always been great with Scorpios. So, yeah, what's your guys' opinion on this fight?
With my dark horse pick for this one, actually. I think as long as Fusions doesn't explode or anything like that, I think they could win this with the vertical spinner. Like, Sackloy's driving is definitely great, and Scorpios is proven to be prepared for like a horizontal spinner like what Fusion has, but the vertical spinner, I think that gives Fusion an advantage, and I think it'll come down to can they win the ground game against Scorpios, and also can come down to how well can Reese adjust like Zach Lyle's driving strategy, because Zach Lyle's not going to do what Maxim was doing in the Fusion Cobalt fight, where he was just driving right into the weapon. Like, Scorpios is probably more likely to do a Will Bales type strategy and try to time his shots well. I don't know if he'll do donuts or anything like that, like what Hypershock likes to do, but Zach's probably going to try to time his shots and try to avoid probably avoid the spinners, but I do think Fusion has the advantage in terms of that, and I'd probably pick Fusion for this.
Corey, what you got?
This one could go really either way, but I'm probably gonna go Scorpios on this just because they definitely have a lot of good driving and they are a good counter to the horizontal. I mean, I think that Fusion will focus on the vert in using that, but I think Scorpios probably has it unless they get really sloppy with their driving. So yeah, I'm gonna go Scorpios.
Yeah, personally, while I do think this will be a close fight, I do feel like just Zach Lytle's driving in this fight will give it the victory. Also, along with the fact that it's an extremely durable robot and can handle shots pro. So, and like I said in the Bloodsport bout, we don't know how Fusion will handle a shot. Although I think it's less likely that Fusion would take a shot from Scorpius than it would from Bloodsport. So if that makes any sense of how I said it.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, Scorpius makes it to the round of 8 where it will go in a rematch against Copperhead. That should be a fun one, as well as that's a Battlebots What If rematch. So yeah. But right now we got the quadrant 2 fights. We got Endgame versus Blip. Endgame defending champs, and Aaron Hill looking for a bit of payback after the Endgame Tantrum semifinal fight. So this should be a fun one, and like Aaron's driving will be have to be really on point for this though.
Yeah.
Which we know he can do. We definitely know that Tantrum can outdrive Endgame. But the question is, will Blip be able to?
In my opinion, I don't think Blip is gonna win this one. I think this one's gonna end faster than Tantrum and Endgame did last season. Because personally, this one comes down to who can win the ground game, and I think Endgame is going to win that one, because I'm not sure about the forks configuration on the front of Blip, because we also haven't seen those in action yet, because I don't think they use them in the Rusty fight. But I think Blip's big shot at this is take advantage of Endgame's gyro issues, which is how Tantrum got underneath Endgame to start that fight before Endgame started beating the crap out of them. And the other thing is, we haven't seen Blip take on a big spinner yet. Like, they took on Rusty, who, not a very powerful weapon. And there's a lot of stuff going on mechanically in the back and stuff. And I feel like if Endgame gets a hit or two in on the backside, that could just KO Blip right off the bat. And so Aaron Hill's driving is going to need to really be on point in this one, but there's just too many concerns here, and I think Endgame's going to win it.
Corey, what do you got?
That's pretty much where I am with that. I think it's Green pretty much phrased it perfectly. I agree.
All right, so Endgame moves on to the quarterfinals, where it will take on the winner of what I feel would be a very intense driving battle. We got the 7 seed Tantrum versus the 10 seed Hypershock. So yeah, that would be a really fun one. Because, both the new Tantrum drivers have been great. They've showed big promise with their driving. As well as Will Bales. He's always been a great driver in Battlebots. Won the 2016 Best Battlebots Driver Award. So yeah, this should be a really fun one. What do you guys got on this one?
Yeah, this one's going to be purely a driving battle, like what I said Blip and P1 was, because I think whoever gets the better shots between these two is going to win the fight. In terms of advantages, Tantrum definitely has the advantage in durability. I think they're much better, or much more likely to be able to take hits and survive. But I think Hypershock has the more powerful weapon between the two, I think I'm probably going to lean towards Hypershock right now, because driving mistakes did almost kill Tantrum, while that has happened to Hypershock in the past too, because I think his driving performance against Endgame was not the greatest. But I'm gonna say Hypershock right now, but that really could go either way. Whoever gets the better hits, honestly, could go to either one of them, in my opinion.
Okay, so Tantrum, I feel like Tantrum is slightly better driven. It's more durable, and Tantrum is a lot lower to the ground. Hypershock's never really been a robot of the ground game, and Tantrum can get underneath most robots usually. And I think that it is definitely a game of driving with this, but I'm gonna probably go with Tantrum on this one.
Yeah, I was talking to Green earlier that if this fight happened, well, if we put this fight in the round of 16, I honest to God have no idea who I'd pick for this one. Now, I told him going in, I thought Hypershock could do it. But I'm having huge doubts still. But I feel like just the main thing that Tantrum has always benefited since 2020 is the speed of Tantrum. Tantrum's always been a fairly quick robot in 2020, and same thing as 2021. But, here's a but. Hypershock is probably faster.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go Hypershock on this one.
Wow. Oh, I thought Tantrum was your predicted champ.
I don't want to hear it.
Green, am I wrong?
Yeah, you're not wrong, but he is making the right choice, because Hypershock would definitely win this one. So.
Wow. Okay, I see how it is. I see the bread that we're talking about.
It'd be close, though.
Oh, yeah,
it would be
definitely.
It would be really close.
But yeah,
And
now
now next up, we got Mad Catter, where Martin Mason called out Uppercut last
finally,
finally
season,
gets
and about time
finally,
we got this one here.
hell
But now I'll
yes,
let Civilian finish that, just because I wanted to mention that and
yeah.
stuff. So
But yeah, as Green mentioned, Martin Mason did call out Uppercut. I think it was after it beat Ribot. I think.
yes,
Okay, yeah.
because he wants to take out, he wants to show that community college rocks, and so he called out, he took out the WPI team. Now he wants to go take out MIT teams, and
Yeah, look at that one for
I
him.
worded that poorly, but you kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely a fight of two very destructive vertical spinners, as Uppercut and Mad Catter have always showed huge promise with their spinners. Uppercut did destroy Gemini and Sawblaze a good amount, and as well as Gigabyte and free shipping. And Mad Catter, did some good shots, against Ribot, against Fusion, and goddamn, it was so destructive in the bounties. Like, that was insanely destructive. As well as Yeti. That was a great performance against Yeti. So, it's a very close one. What do you guys got for this?
I'm actually gonna go with the underdog for this one. I'm gonna pick Mad Catter for this and stuff, because Calvin Iba is a terrific driver for Mad Catter. Well, Alex Satori is a good driver too. Once again, similar to what Tombstone would have to do, Mad Catter is probably going to try to take advantage of the gyro issues on Uppercut and stuff. And I like the low ground game that fork that Mad Catter has, both to self-right and for a little extra ground game, provides them and stuff. And I think it's possible they could get underneath Uppercut and launch them with that vertical spinner.
Yeah, I have Mad Catter in this one too. I think it's You
Yeah.
okay, sir?
Me?
You
I think he
good?
took another bite out of a stick of deodorant again.
I'm
Oh,
eating.
okay.
I'm eating pretzels and drinking milk.
Okay. Whatever you say, dude.
Well,
Yeah, so I think that Mad Catter would probably have the edge in this fight just because the driving. Uppercut gyros a lot, you can't, Uppercut can't just turn on a dime and, not like be in trouble. So I feel like Mad Catter will drive circles around Uppercut and probably win that way. Although I think if they got hit by Uppercut Spinner, they are in for a world of hurt for sure. But yeah, my point stands. I'm going to say Mad Catter.
I have to thank you two because I thought I was a fucking dumbass and y'all would disagree with me for picking Mad Catter to win this. But yeah,
No.
I do predict Mad Catter to win this. Main reason, I feel like this is my main take on Uppercut. Extremely overrated robot. And any bot that has like a good driver to it could probably take Uppercut out. And Mad Catter has Calvin Iba, and Calvin Iba is a great driver, so I'm going Mad Catter for this.
Based.
But yeah, another top 8 seed is down. We only got 3 top 8 seeds left, and the other one is about to fight now, which, this is going to be a fun one to just see Pory and Green's takes on, so I'll just let them take it from here.
You go first, Green.
For you, the robot's the higher seed, so
Okay. Ribot would win this fight. Let's keep it 55th Street. And here's my reasoning why. For one, it's a frog. For two, the big issue that Ribot had in his last fight was how you were saying that allegedly it was running away. The reason why was because it was trying to run into the wall and flip, like kind of how Bite Force flips over. When it was flipped over, it ran into the wall, back over. Ribot wasn't scared of Black Dragon. Ribot was trying to self-right. Ribot has a Streamec now. So if Black Dragon flipped Ribot again, Ribot could just self-right right away. Plus it has bunny ears now as well. So if the Streamec failed, it could still run its spinner while upside down, which is something that it struggled with in the.
It was running the spinner while upside down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
The
was.
weapon was working.
The weapon was working when it was upside down last
Okay,
season.
well,
Yeah.
it could self-right. It could self-right more efficiently now.
Yes.
And I feel like that would give Ribot the advantage because I feel like Ribot probably has the ground game in this, just slightly. Black Dragon still has some pretty good ground game, but I feel like Ribot has better. Plus, Ribot's brushless now, so in theory, it should be able to go a little faster, be a little better driven. So I'm gonna have to go with Ribot because it's a frog, it's improved, and we're going all the way.
All right, Black Dragon, hands down. Ribot. Black Dragon definitely has the better weapon between the two of them. Ribot's weapon has not done enough unless if it's gone up against a low quality opponent. Ground game too. Ribot lost the ground game pretty badly when they fought the first time. Like they lost 3 wedgelets and the 4th one was bent pretty badly in that one. I think even if they righted themselves, they still would have been pushed around in that one just because they lost the ground game advantage in the first 30. They lost the ground game within the first 30 seconds of that fight the first time around. And the other thing, Ribot's got exposed wheels. Black Dragon was very close to getting one of those front wheels in the hit that sent the frog head off before their weapon started going up in smoke. I do think Ribot definitely has the better reliability and the better durability, but Black Dragon's got the advantage in control and aggression. Well, I don't know about aggression. Aggression's probably about 50-50, but control and then damage as well. Black Dragon has the edge in both of those. Like Ribot's not going to match Black Dragon in both of those categories very easily.
It could match the damage. I mean, it does appear to have a better weapon for sure, and
but then Black Dragon does too because they got a bigger weapon for this year. Based off of when I talked to one of the team members,
but Black Dragon is not based on a frog, so it automatically puts at a disadvantage.
Or based off of a dragon, and frogs run away from dragons.
Dragons aren't even real. So okay. At least frogs are real.
So have both of you made your cases, your final cases?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck me, this is close. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. I see improvement in Ribot. I really do. Now, let's throw this down. Let's throw it down in I don't know the word, but in certain let's throw this down to specific categories. Okay, so first off, driving. I don't know. Green, does Black Dragon have a new driver this year?
I believe yes, but he seems like the driving tactics seem to be about the same within them all, and I think they do have a different driver for this year because I don't think Gabriel Tellis is there, who was their main driver from last season. They have the same weapon operator based off of the looks of it, but yeah.
And that's another thing also that worries me with Black Dragon. It hasn't, so far it hasn't been an issue. We've been okay. We were okay last season. But the fact that the team is pretty much a completely different roster every year does give me a little bit of worry. And it had a very good win against Ice Wave. It did very good. But also, they'd have to really goof up to lose to Ice Wave, I feel. That was a very favorable matchup for Black Dragon.
Yeah, I do feel that Black Dragon probably does have the better driver. So I'll throw a driver category to Black Dragon. Now, let's go on to weapon for now. I personally feel Ribot does have the better weapon, because here's the thing. Sure, Green does make a fair case that Ribot's only fought in low-tier opponents thus far, but I feel like it's safe to say that Ribot's weapon has improved at least a little, and it did fuck up Beta royally, and you cannot say that as a low tier opponent.
Also, keep in mind, Defender is built by the Vasquez boys, so it's probably not like a weak robot per se. I mean, it's definitely a favorable matchup for Ribot, but I'm gonna go on a limb and probably say that Defender probably isn't like, it's not like, fighting Balespear. It's like it's probably competently built.
Uh,
Plus, I'd throw how Black Dragon fucked up Claw Viper too. All the damage they did to Claw Viper in that one before their drive died and stuff. Can't deny that.
No, they did. Black Dragon definitely has a good weapon.
Even though I know
100%.
civilians up there straight up denying it based off of his look.
Claw Viper isn't a good robot, so you can't really throw that at Ribot and then not.
Claw Viper is
a good robot.
Okay,
Black
in Green's defense, Claw Viper is definitely a tanky robot.
Is it?
We haven't really had a chance to. Claw Viper never really had a chance because, its first fight was to Hijinks, who was having technical issues. Then it fought Black Dragon. Then it fought Gigabyte. So, it's fighting beefy ass robots. So, that isn't really Claw Viper is bad. It's Claw Viper's just fighting really good bots, and I feel Black Dragon definitely does have weapon power. I'm not gonna deny that, but it's also not a frog, so.
Yeah, but I do feel that I'm gonna throw a weapon category for Ribot, so it's currently 1-1.
Based.
So here's the tiebreaker, ground game, and I feel like this is one where it could go either way. And here's the thing. Ribot does have those new forks that we saw. The ones that use Defender, those long ass forks, trying to be endgame or some shit.
Black Dragon's never been a fork game kind of. It has the wedgelets, but I don't know. Does Green could probably confirm it. Does Black Dragon have forks?
They did use forks in the Minotaur fight technically, and stuff based off of that configuration up front. I think probably their lowest to the ground stuff is kind of like what they used against Ribot, Whiplash, who else? Slammo, Kraken. That's probably their best ground game right there. Those wedgelets that they have there. I don't know if I'd call those exactly wedgelets, but they kind of serve the same purpose, so I'd count it. But
okay. Shit. Fuck. I don't know, man.
Just choose Ribot. I know you're going to, since you think Black Dragon's overrated.
Well, I mean,
I think he thinks
Ribot isn't top tier.
Too.
Ribot isn't top tier either. I mean, let's be real here.
Come on, man. Listen.
No. No, you want to argue with me? I'm the guy who's voting here. You want me to vote Black Dragon right now?
No, I want you to vote what's in your heart. If you firmly, honestly feel that Black Dragon is a superior bot, I respect your decision. You're wrong, but I respect your decision. I can't. I'm not manipulating you. You can vote for who you please, who you feel is better. But you might. Ribot got the forks. Black Dragon has wedgelets. They got some. They're decent, but with Ribot definitely.
Hey, we won the ground game against you guys once before, so.
Yeah, but Ribot.
Yeah, but last year our wedgelets were kind of iffy, though.
Yeah, Ribot.
How do you know our wedgelets aren't better too, though?
Well, here's the thing about that. We have seen Ribot have new forks, whereas Black Dragon, there could be new forks. You never know. We just haven't seen them yet. Is the thing. So yeah. I feel like just based on that, I have to go Ribot here.
Fair enough.
But I feel like if Black Dragon does really good against Rotator, this could be a situation like Pory says where my take here could age like milk, and I could definitely predict Black Dragon for this one. But yeah, for now, I have to go Ribot.
Let's go.
But Yeah, our top four is set. We currently got the one
Four.
seed.
Top
Our
four.
top eight. Our top eight is set.
Wow.
We currently got the one seed Sawblaze, the 9 seed Rotator, the 13 seed Copperhead, the 12 seed Scorpios, the 2 seed Endgame, the 10 seed Hypershock, the 14 seed Mad Catter, the 6 seed Ribot. So yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so now time to go on to rematch from 2019, Sawblaze versus Rotator, where both bots have improved immensely since then, is the thing. You know, since Rotator didn't really figure out its weapon thing yet, you know, and Sawblaze didn't use it, didn't have its hammer saw until Blacksmith. So this is a case where, like, you could see this going either way just because both bots have improved immensely since then. So what are your, and they're both great drivers, so what are your guys' thoughts on this fight?
I think Sawblade is gonna take this one once again. Like, I like Rotator and all, and I think this is probably gonna go the full 3 minutes once again. But I think the ground game on Sawblaze and just Jameson Go's ability to control a fight like this, I think that's just gonna give Sawblaze the advantage, and I think Rotator's just gonna take hit after hit from that hammer saw and gonna lose it by a judge's decision.
Okay. So I think it's gonna be a similar case to the Whiplash Sawblaze fight where it's gonna have a similar result, but it's gonna not be as one-sided. However, Rotator's spinner was kind of mid in 2019.
In 2019, yeah, I was basically
Yeah, 2019. Yeah. So in 2019, Rotator's spinner was very mid, but then they switched the material it was made out of, and then it started hitting like a beast. So they could very well disable Sawblaze's weapon, where Sawblaze would be like a glorified clamp bot, pretty much. So while I still think Sawblaze will push Rotator around and dominate the fight and win it that way, I think it will be a lot closer than their initial encounter.
So you're going Sawblaze?
Yeah.
So yeah, Sawblaze moves on to the top four, and we'll take on the winner between Copperhead and Scorpio. So let's get right into that one, shall we? It's a rematch from 2019, where, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ!
What are you doing?
I don't know. Okay. I want to hear it. Okay, so we got Copperhead and Scorpios here. Copperhead, you know, drum spinner, and 2019 they both fought, and Copperhead was winning the fight for the most part until Copperhead decided that Crip Mac wasn't keeping it 55th Street, so it decided that it wasn't going to keep it 55th Street anymore either, and died. But
Technically, no. Oh, it was technically a 1 in a million shot that Scorpios got, where Scorpios hit a drive belt on Copperhead, and that's actually what disabled it.
oh really?
And based off of what I heard right there, which that I actually heard from a video by Scorpios where they showed off a lot of their damaged parts and stuff, because what they ended up receiving in the mail recently was the wheel from that fight, because they chipped part of it, as well as that was the side where they struck the drive belt that disabled Copperhead. But I think I think Scorpius is gonna need something like that to happen again, or something like that, because a head-on clash between these two, Scorpius is not gonna win this one, or at least win that exchange and stuff. They still could win the fight, but I think this is just gonna be a 3-minute slugfest, and if Scorpios can unless Scorpio's hits one of those vital spots on Copperhead, I don't see Scorpio as winning this one.
Yeah, Poor, what do you got?
Unfortunately.
That's pretty much where I'm at too. Like, Scorpios definitely could do it, but I think all the odds are in favor of Copperhead here. I think that Coppercone will take out Scorpios and maybe in a KO, but probably close judge's decision. And Scorpios, their spinner does look better this season, but I can't help but think that it's a very unfavorable matchup for them.
Yeah, so I'm guessing we're all going Copperhead then?
Yeah.
Alright, so Copperhead moves on to the left side to the semifinals where it will take on Sawblaze.
What?
Now going to the right side of the the quarterfinals, we got Endgame versus Hypershock, a fight that took place in 2019 where Hypershock, safe to say, got fucking bodied in it, and Kenny Florian almost died in that fight, so
Kenny Florian did almost die.
And Endgame looking to kill Hypershock and Kenny Florian again, so yeah. The real question is, do you guys think Kenny Florian will live to see the next fight after this?
No.
I would say yes, because personally in the last matchup, that was sloppy driving by Will Bales in that one. I do think Endgame would win this one again between these two, because I think a head-on shot's gonna go to Endgame here, no doubt. Using lots of the logic Pory was mentioning involving ground game for Hypershock when we were just discussing Tantrum and Hypershock, but Hypershock's only way of winning this is just gonna be driving circles around Endgame and timing the shots right and not going head-on like how they did before, and I think odds are not very strong that Endgame is going to give Hypershock many big opportunities to do that.
Okay, I'm going to throw out an upset here. I do think Hypershock will squeak this out. Mainly because of Hypershock's speed. I'm sure Hypershock will probably plan out the same strategy, probably to something like what Witchdoctor tried to do this week. And I feel like Hypershock could probably pull it off, in my opinion. I feel like and it's definitely faster than Witchdoctor. I think we can all agree that it's faster than Witchdoctor.
Yes.
So I feel like Hypershock can definitely just run circles around Endgame a ton more and go for a clean opening. Try and do something like what happened in Hypershock versus White Force. And with those forks that Hypershock has, I do feel that Hypershock's ground game is substantially better than what we saw in, 20 in all the other versions of Hypershock. I feel like this version of Hypershock will just be extremely quick, and I feel like it will be able to get the shots it needs on Endgame to win this fight.
I'm probably going to go Endgame in this. I feel like it's going to be like a slightly more challenging version of their fight against Witchdoctor. I don't really see how Hypershock could actively win that without some luck, sadly, just because Endgame's got that ground game and they're just a beast. So yeah, I'm gonna go Endgame.
Alright, so Endgame moves on to the top 4, where it will take on the winner between Mad Catter and Ribot. So, yeah. So let's go on to that fight. A rematch from 2019. No, 2020. Rematch from 2020. Where Ribot was winning the fight, but then decided to go after pointless Minibot number 1 and then got bodied. So, do you think Mad Catter will go in with the... Wait, it always goes into a Minibot. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys have on this
fight?
Just
as a consistent Minibot, like how it wasn't exactly last season.
Yeah, what do you guys got on this? fight.
Yeah. They almost did it the last time. I feel like they'll be wiser to not get sloppy and go after the mini bot until after they take him out. But I firmly believe that Ribot has got this. They got they got brutal weapon. They got pretty good ground game. I feel like they probably have better ground game than Counter, I'd imagine. But it's gonna be a tough fight for them. But I think Ribot's got this.
Green, what do you
I
got?
am honestly kind of iffy with this one. I'm not exactly 100% sure which direction to go. I think I know which direction I'm going to go, but I first want to go with my points with this one. So, yeah, Mad Catter and Ribeye are it's probably going to be a vertical spinner showdown once again, and both of these two will probably be going for ground game once again. Thing is, I firmly believe Mad Catter has the better weapon between these two. I also think Mad Catter has a better driver between the two. But I think Ribot is definitely the more reliable, the more durable, the faster and maneuverable robot between the two. But the question this one really comes down to is ground game once again, and I'm actually leaning towards Mad Catter on this one, because Sawblaze was actually in the middle of before Jameson Go used a driving tactic he used to get underneath Mad Catter. He was having problems getting underneath that fork of Mad Catter. That fork was really giving Sawblaze a big challenge in terms of ground game. And Sawblaze is one of the lowest of the ground robots here. And that's the big concern I have for Ribot in this fight. And that's honestly kind of why I'm actually leaning towards Mad Catter once again and stuff. Like this is one where I feel like I want Ribot to win this one. Like I love Ribot and stuff, and yeah, like what Pory said, I think Ribot definitely has a great shot at winning the giant nut, but
Yeah.
but I think Mad Catter just has the advantage in terms of like ground game, which I think would be crucial in a fight like this. Like I think Ribot's big shot at this is if they could either implement a driving tactic to avoid that ground game advantage that I feel Mad Catter has, or try to outlast them or something like that. But that's kind of my case right now. I think I'm going to have to even up the score on this one.
Wow. Alright, Civilianers, make the right choice.
You guys can't fucking come to a decision whatsoever, can you? God
Well,
damn it!
This would be a close fight.
Yeah, this would be a close fight, like legitimately.
Like the last one.
Here's the problem. The problem is Mad Catter's asymmetrical weapon. That's the problem I see in this fight. I feel like Ribot does maybe not have the ground game, but I feel like it has a better angle to get under Mad Catter than Mad Catter has to get under Ribot. But here's the thing, because of Mad Catter's asymmetrical weapon, it could just fucking hit that fork and just cleave it off, and then Ribot might get like one shot with that weapon, but after that it just has like that one extended fork, unless they decide to go for broke and have like 4 extended forks. I don't know if they have the weight for that or not, but you never know. Fuck, I don't know. And I do feel that Mad Catter does have the better weapon. It's just that... fuck. Ribot is just such an unproven robot that I don't know if it's a god tier or a piece of shit or not.
Come on, man.
Okay, I have it. I feel like Mad Catter will take that fork off of Ribot. I feel like Ribot will get that hit and flip Mad Catter over, and then it'll be all Ribot from there. That's the way I see it. Although, I could be extremely wrong about this, and I could just be giving it. Pory could just be trying to give me a headache because I'm voting robot too much.
No, you're based for voting for robot.
I respect it.
Okay, so we have our top four. We got a dragon, we got a snake, we got a frog, we got Endgame. It's a killer zoo out there. So, yeah, we got Sawblaze, the 1 seed, Copperhead, the 13 seed, Endgame, the 2 seed, and Ribot, the 6 seed. This is going to be a sad side. Yeah, we got 1 seed Sawblaze versus 13 seed Copperhead. I'm going Copperhead. I know these two will go Sawblaze, but I'll just throw in my 10 cents. I know they don't mean much, but here they are anyways. Okay. I feel like just because of how powerful Copperhead's drum is, I feel like Copperhead just should be able to A, throw Sawblaze up in the air, or B, just do extreme damage to those forks, because Copperhead's weapon is just so low to the ground that it could, honest to God, just hit the forks the wrong way and just bend Sawblaze's forks to completion. And I just feel like Sawblaze is probably the quicker robot, but I feel like Robert Cowan will take a very focused, not very aggressive approach here. And I feel like because of that, I feel like that will probably help Copperhead win the fight. But yeah, I'm going Copperhead for this one. So yeah.
You're gonna have to come back to me on my prediction for this one, but because I don't know who to pick for this one as of now. Because on one hand, if these two go head on, like I actually think Copperhead would win the ground game
Yeah.
over
Oh yeah.
Sawblaze here.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, that's not Jameson Go's driving style here. Like he's not gonna drive straight up on Copperhead like that and stuff. Like that's not what he did in the Minotaur fight. That's not what he did in the Mad Catter fight. Like he's gonna force Copperhead to turn and stuff. And the problem is those gyro issues on Copperhead. Like we saw them in the Lockjaw fight. They are still there. Like we could very easily see Sawblaze scoop up Copperhead like that. But the problem is, even if he scoops up Copperhead, like I don't think Sawblaze is going to want to go weapon on weapon with Copperhead. They were
Oh yeah.
definitely trying to avoid that as much as possible with Mad Catter and
Minotaur.
they grazed the weapon of Mad Catter once
And
in that
also,
fight.
Copperhead is
But
much more compact, so there's a lot less area to hit than Mad Catter does. Because like
and then yeah,
Copperhead's
that's the other thing. Like Jameson is definitely going to be would definitely be a lot more cautious with his timing in terms of striking with that hammer saw this time around compared to like his past few opponents. Because like Minotaur, even with that one, he had to be a little cautious with that one because he waited until he knew he had the perfect opportunity to strike Minotaur with that one, just because when Minotaur's drum spinner was in the front, he wasn't going to strike that. No way.
yeah.
And stuff, because he could very easily risk damaging that weapon, and I don't know how many spares they have of that one, and so on. But the other thing is like Copperhead still hasn't proven themselves durability wise. It's possible that a few hammer shot strikes could KO Copperhead from there. So, and including the flamethrower on Sawblaze 2 was pretty dang effective in the Mad Catter fight, and if he gets the opportunity to just torch Copperhead like that, that could also play a factor too. But before I make my vote, I want to hear from Pory on this one.
Uh, I'm probably gonna go Sawblaze, but this could go either way. I think. Um, I do think that Copperhead could do it. They definitely could, 100%, 55th Street. But I just think Jameson Go is the much better driver, and he just he's not gonna go head on. That'd be stupid. He's gonna wait until there's an opening and get around to the side or to the back and go from there and just kind of dominate the fight, push him on the shelf, hit him with that hammer saw. I think Copperhead could do it for sure, and I could be very wrong, but I'm going to go Sawblaze on this. Green, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't think we can hear you, buddy.
Yeah, Green, we can't hear you.
Muted myself. I know how I'm going to determine this thing.
God.
I grabbed my 4 Valkyrie poker chips. Which weapon should I go with from Valkyrie for this?
Glory.
Dr.
Oh,
Teeth.
definitely. Oh, I love Glory, so I'm going to go with that one. We're going to have to do a little coin flip here. So, Leonard, because I think this one could go either way, because, like, if Sawblaze times their shots right, I think they would win this one. But if Copperhead, otherwise, I think Copperhead would have the advantage in this one. Alright, so, on one side we have Glory, and on the other side it's Valkyrie 2021. Which side do you each want?
Copperhead head. So, wait, hold on. What are we insinuating? Okay.
He said head.
Fuck me. I'll take Valkyrie. I'll take Valkyrie.
Alright, so then Pory gets the Glory Blade. But we're gonna do 2 out of 3. 1 vote for Copperhead.
Not looking good.
Another vote for Copperhead, so Copperhead wins.
Let's fucking
That's
go,
fair.
Valkyrie!
Yeah, it's gonna be close. That one is probably the closest to a 50-50 fight between all that we've done here.
Leanne, I fucking love you. Your poker chips are based and they're amazing.
So why don't you have any?
Plus, I love how you roasted Riptide on like Twitter or some shit. That was cool too.
I thought about coin flipping the duck poker chip instead, but I thought it'd be more fun to pull out the 4 Valkyrie poker chips instead.
Alright, so Copperhead is going into the finals where it will either take on the 2-seed Endgame or the 6-seed Ribot. So, yeah, I'm just changing the color Copperhead to make it seeable. Okay, so right side semifinals time. We got the defending champ versus Pory's predicted champ. Pory, what do you have to say for this one?
We did it before, we'll do it again. Endgame's gonna get fucked. Too much of a glass cannon, man. They're not reliable enough. They're not a frog. And we're just... Well, they might have the ground... They probably have the ground game, let's be real. We got the driver. We got the weapon. We got the frog. We're going all the way. We're going to take out Endgame. We're going to take out Hydra. We're going to take out Copperhead. We're going to take out Black Dragon. We're going to take out everyone. Frog is going all the way.
You say you have the better driver.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm actually going to disagree with that.
I don't know what you're on about there, buddy.
Bro, we beat him before.
Yeah, and my big Endgame, stack of poker chips right here.
Yeah, wow. you beat Endgame at like its shittiest season. It couldn't even beat.
It had good moments that season.
It couldn't even
Valkyrie.
beat Gruff properly.
My new Horizon poker chip that came today.
Are they selling those, or they just send that to you?
Yeah, they were selling them.
Oh, cool.
Witchdoctor, Gruff, Witchback. Sub-Zero.
Play this fight out in your head. What do you think would happen?
Scorpios, Tantrum, Blip, Captain Shredderator, Huge, Waiachi.
Pory, play this fight out in your head. Explain to me what you see happening.
They both drive out of the center. They circle around each other. Ribot gets a hit on the side. Endgame goes flying. Ribot capitalizes. They go in. They rip off Endgame's self-rider, and then Endgame can't self-ride. But Ribot's driver screams, "Send it!" So they send it. They send Endgame flying, ripping off one of its wedgelets in a wheel, and then they just destroy Endgame and win.
Not gonna lie, I disagree with so much of that. So much of that does not fit with Endgame's design.
I will play devil's advocate in this and probably agree with Pori on the fact that Ribot does have better mobility.
Yeah.
I do feel that
Maybe.
Ribot probably could. I don't think it's faster than Hypershock, and it's probably close to
It's not
Witchdoctor.
faster than Hypershock.
It's probably close to Witchdoctor's speed. So I do feel
Or
like
faster than Witchdoctor, I'd say.
Green is. Who do you think's faster, Ribot or Witchdoctor?
Probably say Ribot. I'd probably give Ribot that one.
All right, so
It's not faster than Hypershock, that's for sure. 100%.
oh yeah, there's no shot there.
No shot for that.
So I do feel like Ribot's strat would probably be the same as Hypershock, what Hypershock did, but here's the thing. I don't know what to say. Green, what's your opinion on this fight? I don't know what to say here.
I'm sorry, Pori, but I'm gonna have to pick Endgame on this one. And
so we're gonna kick him
the
off.
only reason Endgame won or Ribot won the last one was because of their durability and stuff. Just because Endgame lost a drive belt, like Ribot did get a good hit in, but everything else was all Endgame from there.
Come on,
Last
man.
fight. In terms of this one, ground game, Endgame wins that hands down. Driving, that one could go 50-50. That one could be 50-50, but I'm leaning to. But I would lean a lot more towards Jack Barker. Jack Barker has had less sloppy driving performances in the past. David Jin has had a few of them in the past, but
Wait, did you just say David? Oh wait, no, I misheard you.
David Jin.
I thought you said David Jameson for a second. I'm like, what?
David Jameson, baby. Oh, but hear me out here.
But the thing is like, Endgame doesn't gyro enough to where I think he'd be able to match the speed of Ribot if Ribot tries to circle around and try to time their shots right. Including if Ribot goes with the vertical spinner and stuff, which I feel like they would for this one.
They would, yeah.
They're not as fast and maneuverable as they are with the undercutter and so on. And I think that's a big risk. And
okay.
So on.
Hot take. If
Go
Ribot
ahead
went in,
and pick Ribot.
if Ribot went in with no, hear me out. If Ribot went in with the horizontal, it would beat Endgame. But
Peace.
Is that really what Ribot would choose to go with for Endgame? Is the question. That's my question.
They might actually. I don't know. That's really a hard call because that might be like their intention, like, you know, get around to the sides and cut them up on the sides. You know, they might be planning on that because they didn't use their horizontal a lot in their debut season period. You know,
oh yeah, like it was only against like what Sharkoprian.
Yeah, and I was like basically like, oh, we're gonna beat this thing anyway. Let's test out the weapon, you know.
I also feel like this fight is a lot of like the Ribot uppercut situation I had, where we really don't know what configuration one would go with. Because, like, okay, say Endgame went in with the plow on accident because it thought Ribot was using the undercutter, but then Ribot goes in with the vert. That's game over for Endgame, probably. But on the flip side, if Ribot accidentally goes in with like the forks, and assuming Endgame's using a plow, and Endgame has forks, I don't really know, man.
Yeah, it's a tricky fight. It's a hard call, you know. But
so
when it comes down to it, Endgame is not based on a frog. That's a big thing, you know. That's a big red flag, you know.
I feel like
because, like you said, you don't know what configurations both of them are going to use. You know, they might be playing a game of chicken with the things. Maybe we're about to tease the horizontal, but then come out with the vert or what have you.
Where's my deep 6 coin?
Are we flipping?
We're flipping, baby.
Base.
Although I don't know where the Deep Six chip is, I might have left it at my dad's house.
Wow.
If not, I'll just use a regular coin. Since it is fair, we decided who went into the left side of the finals using a coin. I think it's fair we decide this with a coin flip for the right side. Okay, so I got your standard 1981 nickel right here. Heads or tails, Pory?
Heads, because Ribot has a head.
Best 2 out of 3. Tails for first round goes to tails.
Come on, man. I can't get nothing.
That was a bad... Wait, that was heads. But I feel...
Base.
I don't know. That one fucking went weird. I'll just go heads to tie it up. Pory, close your eyes.
Okay.
Green, can you see which side it is? Don't say what side it is, just tell me if you see what side it is. You sound muted.
Bro, can I open my
I
eyes?
think I can tell. It's
Okay, I think Green can tell. Okay, so Pory, open your eyes for me.
Heads. Let's go. Base.
dang. We're putting Ribot in the finals.
The frog is going all the way.
So Ribot somehow makes final 2. God help us all.
I mean, they're going IRL as well, so, that's not that surprising.
But I say, before we decide who would win this glorious matchup between Copperhead and Ribot, I say we have ourselves a third place matchup between Sawblaze and Endgame. So, Sawblaze just...
I like that.
So, Sawblaze... This fight happened in the USA versus World event where Endgame should have won. But...
No.
Okay.
But I see where you're coming from.
But yeah, both bots were extremely destructive bots, and they're both our top 2 ranked seeds, so this should be fun. So what do you guys think would happen in a matchup like this?
First of all, I agreed with the decision and stuff.
Base.
I felt Sawblaze should have won that one. My reason is I actually would have said Endgame for that one if Endgame did not die at the end of the match, because they were left motionless at the end.
Don't you think Bombshell should have beaten Yeti, though?
Yeah, because I felt like originally Endgame was winning on damage, but when that moment happened in the last 10 seconds, that's what led me to Sawblaze right away and stuff. Yeah, because I felt Endgame would have won it on damage and the strategy point, while Sawblaze would take the aggression and the control point, but that right there kind of leans me to the other direction. So now, in terms of this fight, I actually think Sawblaze would take this one and stuff. I think Sawblaze would give Endgame a serious run for their money in this one, and Sawblaze is a lot. Well, Endgame is a lot less compact compared to like Copperhead and Minotaur, for example, and so I think Sawblaze has a bunch of better shot opportunities that could possibly land on Endgame here, and who knows what would occur and stuff, but you get the idea.
Yeah. So you're going Sawblaze is my guess.
Yep. Duck, poker, chip, even though you can't see it, probably.
Pory, what do you have on this matchup?
First off, Sawblaze won that decision. And they're going to win another decision. I'm going Sawblaze.
Oh, you're going Sawblaze? Alright. Personally, I'd go Endgame for this one, just because I feel like Endgame's just a bit more...
It's your brand.
Yeah, it's my brand too. But Sawblaze wins the bronze medal. So yeah, get fucked endgame. Okay, so now we have our championship. Kind of feels like we're trolling a little, but I don't care at this point.
No, both these robots could definitely legitimately make the
definitely.
championship.
Definitely. Without it, well,
one of them is going to be the champion. So,
well, one of them was the 2020 champ. So yeah.
Yeah, Ribot was the 2020 champ. You're
No.
right. No.
You
already know what it is.
No, fucking Trey Ross.
I mean, you did originally state that you think Copperhead was going to win Battlebots 2020.
Yeah, because Trey, it did win. It's just that Trey Roski decided to fucking change the entire thing of the fight, and realistically, Copperhead was gonna fuck up. Copperhead was gonna fuck up Mammoth. It was gonna body shatter. It was gonna absolutely annihilate Endgame. It was gonna have Tantrum go all the way to like fucking California or some shit to say hi to Miles. And then it was gonna take out Whiplash.
I personally don't think Copperhead would win against Shatter.
I'd probably have him against Shatter, but I probably wouldn't have him in any of those other fights he brought up, besides like maybe like Tantrum, maybe?
Yeah, I'd agree with Tantrum. I don't know about Endgame.
But yeah, on one side we have Copperhead, who has taken out big names such as Witchdoctor, Jackpot, Scorpios, and Sawblaze. This is also the Battlebots What If Season 5 champ, so yeah. On the other hand, we have Ribot, who has never competed in Battlebots What If before. Taking out Dragon Slayer, Black Dragon, Mad Catter, and Endgame to make it here. So, yeah, I'd say this is kind of a situation where me and Pory have to convince Green.
Probably, because this one really could go either way as well.
Pory, you're the higher.
I think this is less one-sided from how I would see Endgame and Ribot going.
Pory, you're the higher seat, so you can state your case first.
Ribot.
Say it's because it's a frog is your main point. I'm automatically picking Copperhead.
That's a good point, but no. Ribot is more agile. It can get around to the sides and to the back of Copperhead. Copperhead's just not a fast robot, you know. All it can really do is gyro around, which Ribot could capitalize on, you know. Copperhead's not really a robot you do the ground game with, you know. You gotta just you gotta outdrive him. You know, you gotta avoid that drum, because if you hit that drum, then it's gonna be a bad time. But Ribot, I feel, definitely will KO Copperhead for sure.
Okay, so you said your case? Okay, so here is my case. I think this isn't a Ribot endgame situation whatsoever. It's pretty clear Ribot would go for the vert in this situation. Now, I feel like once Copperhead gets to the front of Ribot, it's Copperhead all day, because Copperhead will probably tear those forks off. It'll throw Ribot upside down. Ribot might get a shot or two on it, but I feel like once Copperhead hits Ribot upside down, and yeah, it does have the self-righter, which it'll take a second or two to self-right probably, and a second or two in Battlebots is pretty much the equivalent to an hour. So I feel like Copperhead could just capitalize on, you know, Ribot having the need to self-right, and it would probably be kind of sort of to a situation like when Bite Force hit Witchdoctor upside down and Witchdoctor was trying to self-right, but Bite Force got to Witchdoctor before it self-righted. So I do feel that Copperhead would be able to take it out. I also feel that Copperhead has less parts that it could take that can be taken off, because like Copperhead, you're not really going to take anything off of Copperhead unless you like fuck the whole thing up, which I don't see Ribot doing. I feel but Ribot though, it has those forks. The wheels haven't really been tested in terms of durability yet, whereas Copperhead, you have homemade the homemade Brazilian wheels. They're probably not as durable as like Black Dragon or Whiplash wheels that they have, but they should still be able to take on the impacts that Ribot has. So I feel like Copperhead should be able to take this one to a judge's decision and win this. So yeah, I'm going Copperhead.
Any last minute cases, Pory?
Ribot. Thank you.
Copperhead.
Alright, I have made my decision. Drum roll, please. Alright, so the champion of the 2021 Battlebots mid-season's predicted top 32 bracket is... Ribot.
Base! Let's go!
Okay, so here is my case here. I actually disagree. I think Ribot would actually go with the undercutter for this one here.
It might be beneficial to them.
Yeah, because, like, I think what they're going to try to do is go for that increased mobility and, like, acceleration and stuff, and try to outdrive Copperhead, get to the sides and the backside of Copperhead, and with that undercutter, that provides them all the extra boosts and that I think they could do. Well, I do think this is going to be a super close judges' decision, because what Civilian is absolutely right about is if Copperhead gets an opportunity to land hits with that drum spinner, they are absolutely going to massacre Ribot and stuff. But Ribot has the durability to be able to take those hits and stuff, even if they lose like a wheel or something like that. And I do think Copperhead's going to stack up on points and get like a few opportunities at that, but outside of that, I think Ribot could get all the smaller points enough needed to win this fight by a judge's decision.
Okay. Alright, so Ribot's the champ of this. I don't know why I did this.
Jesus Christ, yo, Ribot ends up being the champion.
That'd be my ego stroke. Let's go.
Yeah, do you see what you just did, Green?
We're going all the
now
way.
This man's gonna
We're
brag about it to like
Dragon.
KOD and Uda to everyone that we predicted Ribot to be the champ of 2021.
You already know it.
I technically didn't, because I predicted against Ribot in their past 3 fights.
I mean, listen.
In the end run, we technically did.
Ribot's a frog. We're going all the way. We're gonna be the champ. We're gonna win the giant nut. We're gonna hoist it up. It's basically me winning the giant nut in a way if Ribot wins the nut, because I'm like an honorary Ribot. I'm a frog, and we're going all the way. Deadlift's gonna be second place.
No shot.
They just have to make a comeback.
Poor Green, you should change your mind just because he thinks that Deadlift will be the runner-up.
No, well, I'll still pick Ribot and stuff, but I don't agree that Deadlift will be the runner-up.
Listen, Deadlift, look at this. Look how neat this is.
Yeah, I'm gonna smack Ribot upside the head with it.
Gears over here are pretty neat too, so...
Yeah, but Deadlift's kind of like a frog, so...
Jackpot brought Needle back, though. Deadlift did not, so...
Yeah, brought a DT.
Deadlift doesn't need a stupid mini-bot, though.
Yeah,
Yeah? Okay. Jackpot wouldn't need a mini-bot either. We'd still kick Deadlift's butt either way.
Bro, when you didn't have the mini-bot, you lost, though.
Yeah? Let's fight again. Let's fight again.
To be fair,
you know what caused him to lose? You know what caused him to lose? This bad boy. Flipped him over. Deadlift freaking dominated. You know what I mean?
Pory,
no, you know what, Pory? This thing.
Pory, how heavy is that thing?
35 pounds.
Wow. That's not that bad.
You probably can't see it because of my camera quality, but see all these gashes there, the side armor here?
Oh,
that's from Jackpot and stuff.
What the fuck did this podcast turn into?
Including there's the piece that the other side armor that's even more gashed up.
Yeah, that shows how durable we are.
Backside of this thing, like that is freaked, messed up stuff, man.
What the fuck did this
Shows us how
podcast?
durable we are.
What the fuck did this podcast turn into? Y'all are just flexing deadlift parts.
Yeah, just because Jackpot is better than Deadlift.
Then why
No
do you?
shot.
Then why?
We beat Jackpot.
Then why did you
Hey,
get a
we beat
deadlift part?
Deadlift.
We were winning for the first half of that fight. I don't want to hear it.
First third of that fight.
Yeah,
We were winning the first third of their opening matchup. The first time
Yeah,
they
but
fought.
deadlift is neat, so
Jackpot is neater. We brought Needle back. Needle officially makes us more neat than Deadlift.
no.
I'd say in terms of neatness, deadlift is better, but in terms of who is a better bot, Jackpot is better.
Hands down. Okay, that makes up for
No.
him picking Ribot over Black Dragon.
Yo, Ribot's going all the way. Ribot's a predicted champ.
Yeah, okay, so here are our final results. We got Endgame in 4th place, Sawblaze in 3rd place, Copperhead is our predicted runner-up, and what the fuck did this podcast turn into? Ribot as the predicted champ. I feel like Pory took me out to Yakko's one day, and I just got some of that Pennsylvanian hot dog in me in.
Bro, if you come to Pennsylvania, I'll treat you to the Ayakos. It's great.
But yeah, let me know in the comments if you. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. No one who's watching this is gonna agree with this whatsoever, and they're gonna shit in my comment section. So, but let me know what you guys think of this bracket. Let me know if you think Copperhead would kick Ribot's ass. Please and thank you. And yeah, anything you guys want to say before
Yeah,
we
just
close
check
it
the
out here?
Discord after this, civilian.
What did you ask it in KOD?
Just check out KOD for what Pory just put in there.
Okay, but anything y'all want to say before we close it out here?
Black
Guys?
Dragon would beat Bribot. Jackpot would beat Deadlift. Let's see. Minotaur would beat Deep Six.
Copperhead would beat Pain Train.
Let's see. Malice would beat Blade.
Copper